you know, I was chasing a record deal in the 90s, and I never came up with one or anything like that. And I'm glad I didn't, because, you know, what I've learned over the years, you know, that we're going to talk about has made me know that that's not the move. And, you know, I've been through it, but so does everybody. And, you know, here we are. So.
Yeah, and it comes a point where you're not defeated, but you know what the game is, and you know that you're going to take another route. Some, I would believe, get defeated in their spirit if they figure they're going to get it through blood and sweat and tears and just the honest way. But when they realize, then you have a decision to make. And thank God you didn't go along with anything else that was wayward, you see. Have you known in your path, you know, coming up, others personally that have compromised their how could I put it, their values just to get stardom?
I'm sure I've known some, but you know, being that I'm a little that's a two-pronged question. Let me go forward, and then, like I told you a little while ago, let me go forward a little bit and then come backwards.
Sure.
Most of the people, because of my age, you know, I'm in my late teens, for those of you out there who don't know. Most of the people that came up in my era, which would be the golden era.
Yeah,
I came of age in the golden era.
I'm 51, so
So
right there
most
with
of the
you.
people, say again? I'm sorry.
I'm 51, so I do know. I go
Well,
back.
I'm a little younger than you. I'm 19. I was born in 1919. I was just born in year 19. But but the point I'm making is, now I'm a few years behind you, brother.
Yeah, I got you.
I'm 47.
I got you.
Right. But the point I'm making is that people in my era, you know, people that I came up with, I believe that this Illuminati, you know, NWO, you know, whatever you want to call it, Baphomet in the music industry, I believe started in earnest with NWA.
Yes.
So most of the people that we came up with were already rapping by the time they got to the age where they were in their early 20s, or, you know, late teens or early 20s. So I believe that it started with NWA, and then it branched out because they saw the power in the music and what it could do to energize the masses after Public Enemy, Poor Righteous Teachers, early Tribe Called Quest, De La Soul, you know, all those groups that came about in the late 80s that were talking about the conscious stuff.
That's right.
Or at least talking about the balance of stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like, the perfect person to use in this example would be KRS-One, because he talked about the struggle from a storytelling point of view as opposed to, you know, glorifying it or denouncing it. He was just talking about this is how people come up and what they got to do in order to survive till tomorrow.
That's right.
So, you know, I mean, and in fact, his second album was named By Any Means Necessary after Malcolm X, and Scott LaRock died through that. So even though he had already attained some level of fame and notoriety and money, he's, you know, you're still going through the same shit everybody else is going through.
Exactly.
Your man getting killed in the hood or some dumb shit. You know what I'm saying?
You're right. And I share the same belief. NWA was the answer to stop the momentum of Public Enemy and all of the conscious groups like it. I've always felt that. Couldn't prove it, but the timeline suggests that.
Of course. And any scientist or any social scientist or anybody with a recollection of that era, and this is where brothers like myself and you and anybody that, you know, is trying to get the information out are very important, because people who are 25, you know, we can't believe now that we're talking to people and we're talking about Public Enemy and that golden era. Hold on one second, my brother.
Yes, no problem. I'll just continue talking. But for those who don't know, Public Enemy.
I'm sorry, Lance.
Yeah.
People of that era, you know, now when we talk to kids who are 25, you know what I'm saying, and under, you know, that's my father's music. You know, we're old enough to have kids who are that age. So, you know, it seems like that was all yesterday. You know
it sure does. It sure does. You see,
right.
And I
Right. So
feel,
we have to teach these people,
yeah,
and we're not just teaching, musicology. We're teaching, the history of the
hmm
music and the significance of who these people were. Because
hmm
Stevie Wonder, Marvin Gaye, the Temptations,
hmm
even the Motown movement, after they got tired of singing that syrupy stuff,
yep,
they started singing about the struggle,
that's right.
about what actually was happening in the streets in them times.
hmm hmm and
Right. So we have to continue that, and we cannot allow hip hop. A lot of people tell me abandoned hip hop is nothing but shit hop, is nothing but garbage. These young kids, and we
hmm
can't do that because we're talking about our children.
exactly. But
They're grown now, but they're in their 20s. You remember when you was 23, 24, you thought you was a grown man. You look at that now, you look at a
exactly,
23-year-old now, he's like he's a boy. He's not even
exactly,
qualified
exactly.
to even tell you anything other than what he's going through.
Let me ask you a question, and let me interject something
Yes, sir.
also. It's my feeling that, with, we'll use the example of the 25-year-old and under. For
Hmm.
us, there's some type of disconnect on purpose. They don't see that we are the precursors to them, and they don't see the connection with all other cultures, music and entertainment. The younger folks will honor the older ones that came before them, and there's that continuum. But with us, it seems like the younger folks are against us. Like, that's old music, it's not relevant, that's that old stuff, this is what's happening now, this is what we're doing now. And they don't see the connection, they don't see how it's just went south since the corporate takeover.
Okay.
You see?
Hmm.
What are your thoughts on that?
I don't think there's really a disconnect. It's a two-pronged thing.
Mm-hmm.
There is a disconnect, but I think the disconnect was created. Well, I won't say I think. I know for a fact that the disconnect was created by white supremacy, and let me tell you why.
Mm-hmm.
They fiddled with the music, and there was a time where you couldn't make an album without a James Brown break in there somewhere, even if it was brief.
Mm-hmm.
And but to go back and say what happened is, I believe that hip hop died, and Nas said it in 2006, because what happened was the laws became such that you could no longer sample music.
Yes.
And now guys are making, because we remember that time when you was in school, you had to take a band class. Even if you just sat there and, touched the damn piano or a drum or a tuba,
Mm-hmm.
you had to take a band class. It was mandatory. They took all that out of the schools because in the late 60s, early 70s, when rock and roll almost died and the music industry was crashing in on itself, Earth, Wind, and Fire came out. Ohio Players, that funk movement,
Yes.
came out, and it saved the recording industry. The same thing with the NBA. When Magic Johnson and Larry Bird came out of the college ranks, the NBA started profiting. When Jordan came out, it went through the roof. So what we got to understand is that we save everything, and they reward us with nothing but pure skullduggery and fuckery all over after we saved it.
That's
So
sad.
this is what people have to know. So they took the band programs because we were specializing and we were actually saving them, and they hate us so much till they love us. They're confused as to what they want to do with us. But the thing you can't do is disrespect them. And any slight is taken as a disrespect. And they're not stupid. They're not going to kill you outright. They'll wait a few years and they'll old dirty bastard you. Or they'll ruin you like Cat Williams.
Yeah.
Or they'll, tarnish your reputation like Michael Jackson and then kill you, when it's not enough to ruin you. They killed Bill Cosby's son because he wanted to buy NBC. It's like, look, nigga, we'll pay you all you want. Don't try to own shit, because ownership is power.
Right. Right.
They don't want. That's why Donald Sterling's team got sold for $2 billion, and they got sold to some guy that you didn't even hear about in the media until he actually outright and bought it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's deep. People.
Right. So what I'm trying to teach black people, brother, is that they could say all these things, and but we can look and see that if you don't even want to use black people, you can use the indigenous people, where these devils broke every treaty they ever made with the indigenous people. So what make them think they're going to give the more melanated people their just due? They already gave reparations to the Jews that supposedly died during the Holocaust, and they already gave reparations to those very few remaining Japanese that were interred during World War II.
That's a fact.
So why am I fighting for reparations? Now, I'm not telling, I wouldn't disrespect the reparations movement. I understand the importance of getting it,
right.
But that's not that is a useless cause. Because if they was going to give it to us, they would have been gave it to us. How do you separate who gets it and who doesn't?
Right.
What is the qualifications? How do you quantify these things? You feel me? So we got solutions too. I'm not just talking about the issues and then just leaving here and everybody's leaving here depressed because it's like, damn.
Oh no, you're setting the foundation.
What do we do now?
You're setting the foundation. It's not just a depressing thing. We have to face it because there is pain and there is frustration, and when we don't face it, we look to escape from it. And that's why in our communities things are the way they are. And you have people who are so-called intellectual, who are in denial, want to stick their head in the sand, but there's something out there, and especially on the issue that we're speaking right now, of this culture control and just this corporate takeover. It's definitely something. You have some people who say, oh, there's no Illuminati. But what is it that, okay, we know that is much bigger than just one industry, but within the industry, there's got to be something that is keeping us poor and broke and keeping our property, our culture, our music, and our entertainers in control. It just doesn't happen. Why isn't it like that? Talk to me.
One word: greed. You can't pimp a bum because a pump ain't greedy. A bum ain't greedy. A bum want enough to eat and function. That's it. He don't want a job. He don't want to support his children, his wife, live in an apartment. He just wants to exist.
Wow.
You can't pimp him. He ain't paying taxes. He'll take anything you give him. If it tastes good or smell good, if it smells good enough to eat, he's going to eat it, and it's enough. If he could find a box to sleep in for the night, that's enough for him. He'll figure it out tomorrow again. You can't pimp him. The only power that I see black people having, we don't have any military power. We don't have any trained people. When you're talking about the police department and all of the alphabet institutions, all the way from A to Z, all the way from ATF to whatever Z and two other letters you can put together. Where are black people going to be? How are black people going to militarily win against these devils who already proven that they only need half a reason to kill you anyway? Last week in New York, and Al Sharpton, I don't like Al Sharpton or whatever, but I'm just talking about it in context of what actually happened.
You and me both.
Some 14-year-old kid who wasn't a hulking football 6'8", 250-pound freak. He was a 14-year-old that looked like he might have been 12 or 13. 14-year-old got thrown through a plate glass window by a sergeant in the police department. Not a regular police officer, a sergeant. Got thrown through a plate glass window.
Damn.
So how are we competing against this, man? We got handguns and maybe a few rifles.
They got tanks,
shotguns
man.
And shit like that.
They got planes.
And New York got this stop and frisk shit now, so ain't nobody carrying guns like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Most guys carrying guns like that for real are moving in cars and stuff like that now. They're not walking the street.
Right.
Right. So, I mean, there's no way around that. So what I tell a lot of black people is the only power I see us having substantially is in the power to strike, because they can't do nothing about that. If we all got behind one cause, one rally, and we all decided to have a blackout, Black Solidarity Day is the perfect day.
Yep.
But, we got so many, unmonolithic people that we can't rally behind one idea.
Right.
There was a movie, and Sam Greenlee died last week. He directed a movie in the early 70s, I believe, called The Spook Who Sat by the Door. And in the beginning of the movie, the lady It's a very involved movie, so I don't want to give away the plot. But there's a part in the movie, it's in the very beginning, when they're trying to devise some scheme to get black people to rally behind some senator who's in a close election, and they make up some conspiracy so that the CIA has to hire black people, and this is the guy that's the spook who sat by the door. But before they did that, they were trying to find an issue to rally around, and the lady, it was a black lady who was, I guess, a research analyst or something. Hold on one second.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry, Lance.
No problem.
She comes in and says that almost all of the, this is in D.C., all of the civil servant workers are black. And if they struck, it would cause a disaster in the city because nobody would move. And in most big cities, that's who we are. So if just the bus drivers and the train conductors took off one day in New York City, the city would be crippled.
There you go. Nobody
would get to work. Matter of fact, in 2006, I believe, I could be wrong, I don't remember the year, it could have been 2005. It was either 2005 or 6. There was a New York City transit strike, and the head of the union was a black man, and they put him in jail for striking. Because he told his people, now we're not going to work. We need a new contract. So this is powerful, you know what I'm saying?
Very much
But if
so.
you can get the workers to rally behind it, you can't fire everybody. You're going to fire people who've been on the job 15, 20 years with all that experience.
Exactly.
You feel me? So we need to have this power and realize that. But, you know, I've been telling people this for years on my blog. I probably reach 3,000 or 4,000 people a month. So, you know, I'm not reaching masses and masses of people. So I'm not dangerous yet. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
I've been telling people, you know, if Marcus Garvey could do this almost 100 years ago, why can't I do it today with all the technology and all the means of communication that we have today?
Yes.
Because people don't want to do it. You know, Umar Johnson always says this. He says, we think most people are really upset with white supremacy, and they're not. They want their piece of the pie in it. And as long as they get that, fuck everybody else. They don't care. They don't give a fuck.
They don't. They don't. No, really. They don't. And they won't do anything that would risk them losing it if they already have it. You understand?
Exactly.
See, look at me. Technically, I have it. You know, and I try to do what I need to do, and I'm fearless in what I do. And I really don't care because I'm not really attached to this. I love it, but it's not my God. You know, I'm enjoying it, but it's not my God. And there are people out there who will sell you out, or they'll tell you at the end of the day, it's about what I can get, and I don't want to make no problems. And ever since I moved down to the South, it's even worse down here, man. So, you know, we're far and few between, but do understand on your blog that even if you do reach only 4,000 people, that's an honest, grassroots, intelligent group of thought leaders who can move and shake things. If they're reading your blog, trust me, they're not just the average Joe Schmo or just a regular person who'll stick their head in the sand when something's down. So if all the bloggers can get together, but in the blogging world, there's so many people who just get off on hits or have their ego attached to certain things or have a buffoonery agenda, which there are those that have come around me with that foolishness. I'm trying to move away from that. Like you said, if Marcus Garvey can do so much, and even in the civil rights movement, so much can be done with the strikes and different things without the internet, without a smartphone. And here we are, we have all of this stuff, and we act like we have no damn sense, and we're crippled.
Well, too many of us are concerned with why Solange is beating up on Jay-Z, why Kanye married Kim in Florence instead of in Chicago, where he's from, or wherever she's from, L.A., whatever. You know, that's what too many people are worried about, man. I mean, if my blog was about that, I could get 10,000 hits a week.
Of course. And,
you know what I'm saying? But I refuse to do that. As a matter of fact, when that Solange and Jay-Z shit happened a few weeks ago, I didn't even mention their names. I talked about it because I know everybody in the world was talking about it. When Donald Sterling and Kay Stiviano shit happened and all that, I probably, you know, I wrote about it, but I wrote about it in context of it happening, but that wasn't the context of the article. It was about something else, and I had to put it in there because, of course, people want to know about that.
Right.
What are you thinking? You know, I'm getting inboxes, people calling me, yo, what's up with this? When the plane disappeared, I got to talk about these things because they're world events. But, I mean, you know, I was speaking at an engagement in Boston a few months ago, and I had told people, you know, just jokingly that I found the plane, and some young lady got pissed with me, and like, you know, like I told her I'm going to stab her newborn baby or something like that. You know what I'm saying? I was joking. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, it was one person that took it the wrong way. Oh, that's just wrong. And, you know, like, you know, you knew people on the plane or something? I mean, your mom was on the plane, or, you know, like, what's your problem? You know what I'm saying? It wasn't that many Americans. I'm sure any Americans on it wasn't black. She was a black woman.
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so I'm like, wow. You know what I'm saying? There's comedians out there talking about the Holocaust and shit. You know what I'm saying? Where supposedly millions of people died. And why are you getting pissed off because 300 people disappeared?
Not only that, but how do they know what's being told to them is you know, this stuff is pumped out. This could be a distraction, man, from other things.
Of course.
And of course it is.
A distraction, not with the C word, not with the C letter, but with 3 Ks for the C. Yeah. You know, nobody even talking about it no more.
Exactly.
How does a plane disappear just like that, bro?
Exactly.
Come on, I don't care what kind of technical mumbo jumbo conversation you give me. I ain't believing none of that.
No.
They got radar that could tell you if you having sex with your woman what babies, what the sex of the baby is and complexion when you nutting in there. How they can't tell you? They can't find no 747 flying up in no damn
with
air.
all of these people.
I don't care where it was. Oh, it's a remote location over the Indian. Then they telling you it was over Indonesia. It was in Kuala Lumpur. Man, I don't want to hear.
It just flew all over the place, now, didn't it?
80 different angles the first 5 minutes after it supposedly disappeared. And that morphed into 80 times 80 more angles after that. And next thing you know, it was just a news item.
Exactly. Reduced to nothing.
Yeah. Exactly.
But something went down that they wanted to keep our eyes off of, and that's the way it is. You know, even with the whole Jay-Z thing. And as a blogger, you know, I talk about those things, but you know what it is? They're like intellectual feints. Like when you're boxing and you throw a fake move to get the opponent to drop his hands a certain way. I'd rather talk about other stuff, but you know, it's that buffoonery. 2 parts buffoonery for every 3 parts knowledge. It'll draw people in, and they get hit with the other stuff. Some will stay, some will go. But I'm not advocating doing that. But it's sad that you will get more hits when you talk about that stuff. And it's not hits from people who you really want to have, because they're just surfing, and they don't really care about what you really have to say. You know, and that's why me as an artist, when I draw things, you can't argue with a visual. You see? So that's my most effective work. And I'm going to be coming out with some really hardcore stuff. And I'm trying to get the government to look at me and say, we got to watch this guy. You know, I want to be so intense and they have done that in the past before. Trust me.
They're already watching you. They're on this phone call.
Of course.
You got plenty of agents, man. This is going to the NSA records, man. Coffers, man. Come on, man. It's all good.
Too much melanin in one spot.
I stick my middle finger up in them every time I get a chance to. You know what I'm saying?
I know I do.
Yeah. It is what it is, man.
Yeah.
And this didn't just start with this NSA, with this Snowden, you know, spying revelation stuff, man.
No.
This has been going on probably 40, 50 years already, man.
Of course.
There's a movie that I saw some years ago. It was quite profound, and I don't know if it was released as a major release in the by studios and stuff like that. But the name of it was Echelon. And we know about Echelon. It's located in New Zealand. It records every phone call ever made, supposedly, or whatever. And it wasn't a great movie, but the idea of what these people could do, you know, based on the technology, and the movie's probably about 10 years old now. So, but I think people should see it just to know what's out there.
Right. That if certain words,
because a lot of people watch movies for entertainment purposes, and people got to understand, sometimes you got to watch the wackest movie ever made just to see one line or one scene, just to say, like, These are who these people are. This is what they reveal it to you every so often.
Of
Man.
course they do. And that's the best way to hide it. That's the best way to put it in a form of entertainment.
Eyes wide shut, I call it.
Yeah, and it's a precursor for things to come. Most of the time, they're telling you what's going to happen soon. You know, I mean, it even before 911. I'm not even going to say I'm some great person that, you know, I'm clairvoyant, whatever. But I remember sitting in the car in '99 up in New York because I moved down to the South in 2001, and I said, boy, that's one of the biggest targets. I'm not saying for a so-called foreign entity, but to be duped from an inside job, that and other places. And it freaked me out when it really happened. And I lost contact with my friend, but I know they're saying, oh my God, I thought Lance was a nut. And he said that, you know, and that might have been a wild guess, but monumental things can and will happen. We don't know how it's going to come, but most people don't understand when these major events happen, it's to cause the mass hysteria to get us to give in to whatever limitations that they want to give us in the law, and for us to give up our rights to find the spook of a bad guy. And it's being played out right in our face with 911 that happened. And that's just like it happened yesterday. And we were so willing, catch the terrorists. We don't care if you go through our phone calls. We don't care. So we just gave it up. We gave up our so-called rights, which they were violating anyway. You know.
Right. Well, I wasn't in New York either at that time because I had read Behold the Pale Horse in late 90s, 96, 97. And continuously in that book, William Cooper, the author of that book, had kept saying in that book, do not be in L.A., Chicago, or New York around the year 2000 or after because something big is going to happen. But he wasn't sure what it was because he said even though he was a high-level intelligence agent for the U.S. military, he wasn't as high as you can go.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So he said, you know, the information he got, a lot of it, even in that, is a lot of misinformation because they, you know, there's a circle in masonry in circles, and I think it's like 6 or 7 circles, and then in the top circle you got like maybe 200 people, and then in the second circle you got like maybe 100, and then in the third circle you got like 50, and then in the fourth circle you got like 20, and then in the fifth, 5,
right.
It just goes down in number, and in the bottom circle you have 3, and only 3 people know what's really going to happen, and I believe that those 3 people are the trifecta of the representation of the powers in the world, which would be the Vatican, you know, which is in Rome, so Italy, you know what I'm saying, which would be the Pope. And then you have the bankers in London,
yes,
you know, and then you
US
have,
military.
Of course, the Pentagon, which is
DC.
the military.
Yeah.
Right, and I believe that, I don't know who those people are, of course, but those are the people that would know ultimately, like, okay, they give the decision and everybody else is just following orders. Right. So those people probably are the ones who knew exactly what was going to happen and when it was going to happen. I believe stupid-ass George Bush, the president at that time, I don't even call him the president. I like Chuck D. I'll call him the resident. I don't even think he knew. He said that Pet Goat book he was reading in Near Your City, you know what I'm saying, was his favorite book, and it was like the stupidest thing he even said because that book got published in the 80s. He said he loved that book when he was a child. That book didn't get published till the 80s.
Oh, man.
So that was an outright lie, and even then, it was upside down.
Yes.
You know, so like, you know, he was definitely not paying attention. He looked like he was as still and quiet as could be, like he was in a Manchurian Candidate type trance.
He
you know,
sure
his
was.
aide had to come get him twice.
Right.
Like, yo, man, you know, like it's going down. You know.
He's like, what am I gonna do?
Like, let him finish that next sentence and get the hell up.
Like it's gonna make
He
that
was
much of a
sitting there
difference.
like he was smoked out or some shit. Like he was, you know, he was on some loud or something like that. Loud and vodka. laced with a little blow in there. You know what I'm saying?
Sitting in front of a porn
Smoked out,
screen.
I don't know. Woolers. Going back to the 80s, talking about Woolers.
For real, for real. Oh, man.
Yeah, man. Well, let's get back to hip hop, man, because that's what
Yeah,
we're trying
yeah.
to save.
No, but
man.
that was
I ain't trying
enjoyable,
to save the world. I'm trying to save, my people. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? Anybody look like me, it's all good in the hood. All the others, you know what I'm saying? If you ain't got melanin, don't take mine,
No, but they hate you for
I
yours
ain't giving
anyway.
it up.
They hate you for yours anyway because it's so powerful. It's that
Yes, sir.
right
Yes,
to the
sir.
spiritual world, man. It's a very powerful thing, and they try to tell you now that it doesn't matter. It does matter, because if it didn't matter, why do you come after me because of it? You're envious of me because of it. And
Right.
you want to emulate the look. You curse us for our skin, but you're sitting up in tanning parlors every chance you get.
Right.
You curse all women for the shapes that they have, but you're in the gym breaking your backside trying to get the same look. I don't understand it. I mean, it's just so clear.
Well, I mean, hate is, you start with the first thing you said as far as the tanning salons. I don't know. I'm sure you read the ISIS papers or read through it or looked through it or something.
Yeah.
That was in that book prominently what you're talking about, and basically what most people in the world are guilty of this is what we call projection. So meaning is like, I'm a cool guy and I like everybody, and I'm respectful. I want to respect everybody. So if you feel that way, you project that on other people, and other people are like, I'm taking his shit. I'm gonna fuck him up. I'm gonna take his wife. I'm gonna take his house. I want the car just like his, and all this and that. So that's something that we are guilty of as a people, when it comes to each other and when it comes to others. So we'll hate our own because it's like, oh, I don't trust that nigga. That nigga gonna take my shit. And then we look at white people, oh, he's so nice, because they're in the image of Jesus Christ or God or whatever you believe in, and so on and so forth. So one of our biggest problems is religion, and because it forms the foundation of all your other beliefs.
That's right.
Because before you believed in that religion that you had, you didn't have no choice to believe in it, because you were going to church and you were going to this way. You don't question the pastor.
Right.
The priest is always right. He's a representative of God, the Vatican. I just mentioned that a minute ago. Any religion in the world is Catholicism, because if your religion isn't recognized by the Vatican, it is considered a group, organization, or cult, or gang. That is factual information. I don't care what nobody, I don't care what you believe in. If it's recognized by the Vatican, it's recognized as a religion. If not, it's something else. So I don't care what anybody tells me. If they want to go look it up and defy me and defy the laws, the canon laws that are from the church and so on and so forth, they can go do that. My last article, or my last series, I'm on part 4. I completed it yesterday. I've been advertising it for the past 2 days, and I'm going to probably write a new one tomorrow.
You are now in the host queue.
Sorry about that, brother.
Right. Let me just finish this thought, and if we have callers out there who want a question or comment, and they can do so. But I tell people all the time, my series that I'm writing right now is the name of it is Sign Your Name to the Devil, and I spell it D''evil. You know what I'm saying? And what I'm saying is these contracts. A lot of people don't know what's in these contracts, and they want to start questioning why Jay-Z don't do this for the hood, why Bill Cosby don't do this for such and such.
Yeah,
why
break that
such
down.
and such don't do this for such and such. It's crazy. These contracts got all kind of clauses. People don't understand contract or canon law, and so on and so forth. So those who are probably over the age of 40 who remember when Don King was being indicted, and they had Al Sharpton wearing wires to get him to say all kind of rogue stuff and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? The reason why Don King gets away with so much stuff, and we know he's nothing but rogue, is because his contracts is ironclad tight. When he went to prison, he did like Malcolm. He started studying contract law, and he learned how to master contracts. That's how come nobody ever beat him. You could probably beat his ass, but you can't beat him in the court of law.
That's right.
And that's why he always says, only in America.
Wow. Amazing.
People don't know Don King killed a man with his bare hands.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what
Up
he
in
did time
Cleveland.
for in prison. I
That's
think
right.
he did 2 stints in prison.
Yeah, he did, and it happened twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, he's a big guy. So you know
yeah.
what I'm saying. Yeah, you ain't
Especially
just
back
somebody,
in that day.
You know.
You know.
Yeah, he's a very intelligent dude. You know what I'm saying.
Good with numbers. And vicious. Because remember, you know, he was the first line, I wouldn't say of defense, but the first line of contact when it came to the mob up in Cleveland. You know, when it came to when it came to the black neighborhoods, it was him that they dealt with. So you know, he had supreme power over all other brothers who were in anything illegal there. You know, because he had the power handed over him. He was the Negro representative of the mob. And plus, he's also a Mason. I don't know when he became one,
right?
But he's also one. So he's mixed up in all kind of stuff. And you're not exactly, you know. So, and then fighters being so impressionable, where you know, instead of them taking a check for $1 million, they'll be more impressed with a suitcase full of $50,000, and they'll take that because they see it. You know, so it wasn't hard to dupe them and control them. You know, I'm a big boxer fan.
Right.
I saw how he did all through the 70s and whatnot. But yeah, back to the contracts and Jay-Z and how they rope you in and limit you. Let's get a little more into that, because people don't understand that business, and they see the finished product, they see the tours, they see the money, they see the videos, but they don't understand how much of a noose around one's neck that can be.
Exactly. Well, you know, in earnest, Jay-Z, Public Enemy, Ice-T, and maybe a few others are a little different because they came in older.
Yeah.
And the reason why I'm glad you brought that up, and Jay-Z is the most apropos person to talk about in this instance. Jay-Z he hit in 96. He was born in 69, so he was 27 already when he came into the game. You know, I'm not talking about Hawaiian Sophie in the jazz days. I'm talking about when he hit on his own with Damon Dash and Rockefeller and all that stuff. Mid-90s, right before Notorious B.I.G. passed away. But what I'm saying is with a lot of young guys, they get them when they're 15, 16. 99% of them come from the hood. So like you said, you show a 17-year-old 50 G's, 100 G's. They impressed with that. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying I wouldn't be impressed with that, but, I'm thinking like, okay, my rent is $1,200 a month. After I buy a chain and take some girl on vacation, that's going to barely cover my rent. So what is 50 G's for me?
You see, it's so different.
I've made that much in a year, way more than that.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not talking about recently. I'm talking about 10, 15 years ago. So that ain't impressive money for somebody who's in their 30s or 40s. You know what I'm saying?
You know how quick it can go.
Right. So what I'm saying is that these guys get roped in because they never seen that kind of money, and if they did, it was illegal. So now, because you got a little talent, somebody showing you attention, they taking you out, you know what I'm saying? You can hit a hooker, you sniff and blow. You ain't drinking 40 ounces in the street. You drinking, some champs, Cristal, and all these exquisite drinks in the clubs and all this and that. And white people are fawning over you and all that. Your mom, wants you to do it because that's the level of success in the hood. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you get roped in. You sign this deal, and next thing you know, you got $100,000 video. They gave you $100,000. You got to pay all that back.
That's right. You better be successful.
So you got 2-3 songs pumping and so on and so forth. And hey man, I want a band. Say okay, yeah, we go pick it up. We got it. And then when your album stop hitting, they say, hey, you owe us $350,000. You owe the IRS $100,000. You owe Jacob the jeweler $250,000. You got you got 100,000 in the bank. IRS is taking that straight up. Now what you got?
Nothing.
Now you a slave, because now they're going to say, hey, man, make this chicken commercial like Mary J. Blige did for Burger King 2 years ago. Hey, man, go do some Flavor of Love shit. You got 8 kids.
More on the way.
Baby mamas. You know what I'm saying?
Telling all your
you
business.
used to getting them $100,000 checks every 3 months.
They're all mad at you now.
You know what I'm saying? Just for your music. I ain't talking about your endorsements and your sneaker deal and your clothesline and all this and that that everybody was doing in the 90s. All that shit got played out. Remember ringtone rappers?
Yeah.
Download this song for $1. You know, you got like, 2 million ringtone hits. That lasted what, like a summer?
Exactly. And they were making songs just to be a ringtone.
So where are all them guys now in that era, from that era, the early 2000s? Mike Jones.
Yeah, I thought about him.
You know what I'm saying? Those guys in that era. You know what I'm saying? Nowadays, one-hit wonders are a dime a dozen. You know, where's Hurricane Chris? Hey, baby. Where are these guys?
Where's Rich Boy?
You know, Nas made a song on that album, Hip Hop Is Dead. Where are they now?
Where's Rich Boy?
At least the guys he was talking about, they had careers. They had, an album run for a year or two. You know what I'm saying? Some of these guys, they got one hit and you never hear about them again. I don't know if these guys are dead, in jail, pumping gas. I don't know what, cutting meat.
But the thing is, they could have, if they were smart enough, when they had that one hit, set themselves for life. If life meaning this, I can get my independence and pursue and do my own thing and have creative control, but I still have to live way below my means. But the hit and the stardom and the women intoxicated them, and they thought it was going to last forever.
Okay. Well, let me just say this. You're 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, under the age of 25. From the hood, your manager is your uncle, and he just came out of prison. You know what I'm saying? He living the life because he been, beating his dick for 5 years. You know what I'm saying? So he's trying to hit every hooker he get. He manipulating you because he used to change a diaper when his sister used to, was out chasing, her baby father who ain't got no damn money because he was hustling. You know what I'm saying? So who's your example?
Right.
Most of these rappers and most of these athletes, who are entertainers, by the way, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people get it twisted that sports is different from, it's a different form of entertainment, but it's entertainment.
Different
when you watch a basketball, football, baseball game, you're being entertained. It's not an essential part of your life. If you never go to a basketball game, I don't care if it's Little League, Pop Warner, whatever. If you never watch that, your life will never suffer. But the point I'm making is that, so you got this 17-year-old, 18-year-old, 19-year-old kid who has all of these examples as his elders. Who's training this young man that, getting a $150,000 loan is not success? When you tell people this kind of money amount, they ain't hearing the word loan. They ain't even hearing no word after the amount. They just hearing the amount. That has penalties, late fees, and everything that a bank loan would do.
And a balloon at the end.
Exactly. Underwater mortgage, all that shit. Same shit, different arena.
Deal with the devil.
I should have said something different. Same shit, different toilet. So this young kid's growing up. By the time you figure it out, you $500,000 in debt, just like if you went to college.
Yeah.
Same shit.
Yeah.
We are the commodities, man. They just found a different way to enslave you in different wording and different language.
That's right.
Same shit at the end of the day. Damn, my ass is in a noose. Now you got somebody with this devilish grin on and say, hey, I'll give you $1 million. Mark Curry said this. I ain't making this up. But, how can I trust you? Okay, take your clothes off and start stroking your dick. And matter of fact, here's some X. I'll be back in 15 minutes. You got all. By the way, in the industry, and I'm not just talking about in the entertainment industry, in the music, acting, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Drugs and alcohol is free. I've been to enough industry parties,
Mm-hmm.
and I know what I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm.
And some of these guys, like Ray J,
Mm-hmm.
are drug dealers.
Wow. Wow.
That was going all around the internet, you know what I'm saying, when Whitney Houston died, because supposedly he was going with her at that time.
Yeah.
Why would Ray J be going with Whitney Houston?
For real. Something to think about.
And then make a song about Kanye West's wife, who now wife, talking about I hit it first. No talent. The only talent is he's the brother of a very talented young lady, who's also in a big part of that shit too, and we seen that when Whitney passed. She got passed the note. That was the baton being passed right there. What the note said, who knows? Yo, these niggas is trying to kill me. You know, help me. I can't do shit for you. I work for the same nigga you work for.
And they trying to get their piece of the pie.
Shit, you ain't getting me. It's all in my book, man. By the way, the name of the book is Boom Bye Bye, Hip Hop Will Never Die. It's on lulu.com. The name of my blog is www.blak, BLACK, 2, number 2, Africa, AFRIKA, not C. AFRIKA.blogspot.com. Again, www.black2africa.blogspot.com. I wrote that right there in my blog. The last series I put is Sign Your Name Over to the Devil. I'm trying to save hip-hop, and we're going to get into some solutions in a minute.
Yes.
But I want you to, take us through the process, and when we get there, I'll start naming some of those solutions. I'm going to be doing some lectures and talks in New York. There's a lot of things going on this summer. Take it away, Mr. Scurv.
Well, like I said, man, I'm blown away with what you had to share, and I've read enough and kind of have enough awareness to pretty much be on to what you're saying. I'm not a dummy. I'm not saying you're saying that I am, but you took it to a whole other level. I'm feeling around for the light switch, because you showed me where the light switch, where it is, and with so many other people, and hopefully they can see what you're saying is the truth and understand that something is not right, something is going on. But I just want to say that the call-in number is 760-259-2310. We have Brother Blak Smith, and he's putting it down. He's an author, a speaker, a blogger, and one who shares the knowledge that he has been blessed to decipher from the Most High. And that's the only way I can put it. Because,
wow,
brother,
that is the most beautiful way I've ever heard anybody put it. Thank you so much.
Yes. Thank God. Thank God. You are a chosen antenna. I
just thank you. I just thank them.
Yeah. And those of us out here, sometimes we can't receive the signal as strong because we're so caught up in the world and the foolishness. But if you want knowledge like this and you want to play your particular position, you've got to let go of the worldly foolishness and buffoonery. There is a sweetness to ignorance. They say ignorance is bliss. It's so sweet, but it's like a person eating sugar all day, and then you get shocked when you turn up diabetic. You understand? There's nothing good in it for you. You need to pull yourself up out of this foolishness, because it's killing us. It's continuing the cycle of death in our community. It's that serious. It's not like I'm on a soapbox ranting at 51 years old, and brother, I got a few years on you. Not much, but the bottom line is you see the cycle. We're old enough to see the cycle, and we're almost to that system like a ghost, because it's like, wait a second, how'd they get by the traps? We know they had to take a few bumps and bruises, but those Negroes right there, they're a bit too wise. We got to get rid of them. And I like what you said when you sent me the text and you sent the intro to the blog, and it said, it might be you next. And I feel that. We know that we're under the gun. We know that we're being watched, because we're the ones dropping the gasoline all through the master's house before we drop that match. You saw, and burn it down, because I am not connected to this anyway whatsoever. You know, I'm here, but I'm here only because I have a work to do, and we all have different positions. It may be you today. It may be Professor Griff tomorrow. It may be, you know, we all have to get each other's backs, man. And for the people who hide their head in the sand, when it really hits you, you go on a run with your slave master, go on a run with your oppressor, and go see what he's going to do for you. Because what's given away for free right now, you can absorb and you can take it to another level and maybe reflect some stuff back on us that we may not have known, because your positioning. Look, you go to a concert, you know, a free concert in the park. You got the kids sitting up on the father's shoulders. You have somebody up in the tree. It's the same concert, but you will see different aspects of it if you had a recorder and play it back. You see, so it's a 360-degree thing that we need each other, and there are not enough brothers like you out here. And I commend you again for being the person that you are. And I know that it took and it takes lots of sacrifice, because I'm a babe in the woods compared to you. Even though I may have a few years, your level of knowledge must be acknowledged, and it must be applauded, because you're teaching.
Thank you, brother.
It's the truth, and we need you. And
Thank you, brother.
It's a damn shame that this world, as it is now, won't appreciate you, because you know what? You're the one that we need to throw the funds at, to keep sharing and doing. Not because you're going to go out there and get rims and a big Bentley. No, you would never do that. You're going to take care of yours, yeah. But we need you to get out there and do what you do. And whatever you're getting, you're not getting enough. You know, even with your wisdom to get, and you know how to hustle righteously, you're still not getting enough, because the people need to make a way for you to teach what's not being taught, and not dumb our kids down and our society down. Sorry for my little soapbox, man, but I just had to say that.
No. Thank you, brother. Alton Maddox, the great Alton Maddox, I love that brother so much, man. He always says that most prophets are not recognized in their time. So you know, when you take this on, I also listened to a video clip of Umar Johnson a few weeks ago, just a few weeks ago, and he was talking about sometimes he would love if he could like go back in a time machine and talk to Martin and Malcolm and Medgar Evers and, you know, some of our greats who were assassinated in the 60s, and ask them if they could do it all over again. Would they sacrifice their life for their people? And you know, because, you know, and then the host put it on him and asked him, what about you? And he said, nah, I was born to do this. He's Frederick Douglass. He's a direct descendant of Frederick Douglass.
Yes.
He said, I was born to do this. He said, you know, there's nothing else he can do. And I've been feeling like that for a long time. I mean, I've had jobs and been in situations where it's like, nah, I can't stay quiet.
Right.
If I stay quiet, that's going to turn into suppress strokes and heart attacks, and you know,
I believe the
all
same thing.
Malfunctions inside of me.
Yes.
I got to get it out.
Yes.
I don't care what's going to happen to me. No one is greater than us. No one is greater than the sum of us.
That's right.
No one.
That's right.
Marcus Garvey, Elijah Muhammad, I don't care what name you throw up there. No one. So when you walk in with that realization, you're going to do all you can and hope that your people take care of you, but it's not the obligation of the people to take care of you.
Right.
It's up to you to take care of yourself,
Yes.
so that the people know why they're supposed to take care of you.
That's right. That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So until I get recognized, you know what I'm saying, for being, you know, I don't go around asking people for anything. All I ask people to do is buy my book, because you know, it's a transaction. It's not a, you know, yo, slide me 10, you know.
Right.
You know,
Right. It's value.
You know, ain't nothing greasing your palm back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but see, the thing is, it's something of value. You know, you can quadruple the price, and it still would be a damn deal to a person to wake themselves up. That's the deal. You know, in this day and age, with all, let me tell you something. If you hand me something to eat that's natural and nutritious, full of the sun's rays, full of real nutrition, as opposed to all of the dead meat and the dead matter and the sugar and the processed stuff that we taste and we say, oh, this is good. You're doing me a favor. So if you got to charge a certain amount for that real nutrition, it's worth its weight in gold. And I should be smart enough to see what it is that you're doing. And I do. So many people would listen and say, oh, look at these brothers. They're talking that crazy stuff. You know, it has no relevance. Well, you know, why would the powers that be look after people like us and like yourself? You know, must be something. Because when they got you, they ain't paying you no mind. Go to any hood, any neighborhood in the country, and the dude that's on the corner drinking a 40, you know, catcalling any chick that's walking past, they know we got you already. You're no threat. But wake that young man up to clean himself up, to think upright, to go on community building and looking after his people. That's a no-no. Because how are we going to keep the jails full? It's preaching to the choir. I already know you know all of this, so.
Yeah, you're right. We got any callers?
Yeah, we have a few callers, but they haven't hit number one. Callers that are on, if you want to talk to Brother Blacksmith, just hit number one on your keypad. The call-in number is 760-259-2310, the Lancescurv Show. You all know. Call on in.
All right.
And hit
We're
number
gonna keep
one.
going till somebody call in. So,
Yeah. We have callers, but they I believe they're captivated. They might not know what to say. You know, nobody's gonna bite your head off if you have a statement or a question. And we have one that just popped on, and I believe I know who it is. We're gonna open up that line just now. Who hit number one? You're on the air. Welcome to the Lancescurv Show.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yo, sounds like some loud person up in here.
Oh yes. I'm enjoying the blog talk.
It's a wonderful thing.
I just wanted to let you know I was listening in to you.
You got a question or comment, Miss Loud?
Well, I've spoken to you about this stuff before, and as you know, I had said, so many of those people in the entertainment industry, they are not as free as people think they are because they have a boss that they have to answer to, several bosses, handlers that they have to answer to, and they can't go against the grain if they want to keep that money.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So
because
true.
I told you about my friends that started out. She did all the makeup for LL and for album covers and videos, and then once he got that show, he let everybody go. All the folks that had been with him from the beginning.
Wow.
Right. And and good. Thanks for adding that on. I like to tell people out there that, a lot of times we blame the artists for those kind of, decisions, and a lot of times those decisions aren't at the behest of the artist because, for example, let's take somebody like Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby had some autonomy because he owned his own studio, Kaufman Studios, which is in Long Island City, Queens. So that's why he was able to fire Lisa Bonet when the show was still running, because she wasn't coming to work on time and so on and so forth. That's why the show Different World proceeded even without her, but she was supposed to be the anchor on that show. It was a spinoff of the Cosby Show.
Wow.
So he had some autonomy, but still in all, at the end of the day, even if Bill Cosby owned the studio where the show was being filmed at and so on, he didn't own the network. So now he was trying to buy the network, and his son gets killed. Michael Jordan was warned not to quit the NBA, and days after he won the last championship, before he retired the first time, his son died in a similar fashion as Michael Jordan's father.
You right
Is
about
that
that?
A coincidence, or two people getting killed almost the same way, on a different coast? Do people question that? You know,
most people are too
and then
distracted.
we have all the other killings and all the other mysterious deaths. It's three ways for the most part: car accidents like Paul Walker, drug overdoses like Whitney and Michael Jackson supposedly, or somebody shooting you like Versace got killed some years ago by some crazed faggot lover named
Andrew
Cunanan.
Yeah.
Some crazy shit. I mean, I wasn't even into this shit back then, but I was like, that shit sound like some convoluted mess. There's no way you're gonna get me to believe you're gonna kill some designer worth all that money like that.
Right.
That guy gotta have security around him like 24/7.
Because he left every morning to get to the morning paper, and he knew, and he went out there and met him or something.
Exactly.
Like
this guy pops out of a bush and just blasts him and gets away for like days and just goes on killing other people. Look at this kid that killed all these people last week in California.
Rogers.
His father was a assistant producer on the movie The Hunger Games. So should we believe it's a distraction, a staged event, or is this some random kid that just, the police had warnings? Oh, he's a great kid. He's okay. He's just a little, confused, right? And next thing you know, he goes on a shooting spree, killing all these people. Not only that, a lot of people don't even know. I just found this out yesterday. He stabbed his first 3 victims. He didn't even shoot them. And his very first victim was a brother who was banging some white chick that rejected him some months ago.
But he made a mention of that too. That how could these white women go with these subhuman, something to that effect? The animal, the scum of the earth.
And that was his roommate. And we're not talking like some guy, down the block. This was his roommate.
Dang. So he's walking around resentful, and that's that white male entitlement. These black folks kill me with, I got white friends and all this and that. You ain't got no white friends. They act like they go home and hear these people talking in their private, rooms and houses like Donald Sterling. Most of them crackers think like that, in one shape, form, or fashion. But they're not going to tell you. They're not going to tell you.
Exactly. I mean, who does that? You work for these people.
Exactly.
What do you mean I don't like black people? They come to my house.
And?
That shit.
I know.
And you co-sign for them, man. The other day, man, I was so pissed off, man. Charles Barkley, the NBA team, Charles Barkley, the Jet, and Shaq, was talking to Mark Cuban about his comments he made about saying he's a bigot. You see a black kid in a hoodie, he's going to cross the street and all this and that. Oh, Mark, you're my friend, and I know you're going to got a racist bone in you. Shut the fuck up. Do you know this nigga's every thought of you in his head?
We got
what the hell is wrong with y'all, man?
We got somebody else who wants to chime in.
Let it be over with.
I'm going to open up one more. 951, your line is open. Welcome to the show, brother. Or sister.
Please.
Sister.
Please. I have white friends, Black. I have white friends.
You sure?
Yes.
Are you sure they ain't light-skinned? I ain't talking about Andrew Dice Clay now.
Bada boom.
Hey, tell us your name and where you calling from. Come on now.
This is Isabel from California.
What part?
Riverside County.
Did you greet the host and the guest?
No, I didn't. I apologize.
You better get your manners right. Okay.
I know white people.
What's your question or comment, other than you got white friends?
You are so awesome. So awesome.
Why? What'd I do?
Because you are exposing the fuckery for what it is.
Wow.
And not a lot of men are ready to, stand solid, like how the host said that there's a price to pay with that.
Mm-hmm.
And I do applaud you. I applaud you just like he does.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes,
Yeah.
indeed.
You know, and there's an African proverb that goes that wherever you go after you pass, you know, whether you believe it's heaven, purgatory, hell, you know, paradise, whatever you believe, you know, there's an African proverb that goes that when you get to the next realm, if you want to call it that, that the only question that they ask you, the equivalent of St. Peter asking you at Heaven's Gate, the only question they ask you is, what have you done? So, you know, that's the way I try to live my life. So, you know, hey, you know, I'm just as, you know, I'm a man, so I got the capability to be God or a devil too in me, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and when
most
I feel
definitely.
that devil spirit coming over me, I just pull back from whatever I'm doing. Because, you know, I could go full throttle too, and sometimes I got to back up. And by the way, I don't tell people I'm conscious because, you know, Malcolm said I use for the most part I use our deceased elders as my examples because their legacy is already set in stone. You can't change it. You know what I'm saying? It's not like Manning Marable came back from death and accused Malcolm of being a possible homosexual and shit like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But Malcolm even said by any means necessary. So we have to know that at times we can't always be doing the spiritually and good shit. We got to do what we got to do. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to go in that store. You know what I'm saying? You know, and I don't really tell this to many people, but I'm talking to the public. I could be talking to 1 million people right now. I don't give a fuck who's listening. Sometimes you got to smile and crack his face and stab him in their back. Literally. I ain't talking that.
You got to meet them where they are. You got to meet them where they are.
Because that's what they do.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So you grin, you could grin and buck dance and all, yeah, and stab him in the back while you doing it. Man, this nigga there, oh, damn, what happened? That motherfucker seeing blood. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So, you know, we got to get out of this, you know, I don't want to be like them. And what does that mean? Somebody kill your 2-year-old son. You don't want to be like him? You're not going to kill his if you get access to him? That is foolish.
Kill my dog, I'm going to slay your cat.
That's foolish. We say shit like that. Oh, I don't want to be like them.
They have
meanwhile, you just punched another brother down the block for owing you $2.
Right. But they have to know you have the same potential for that activity that they do. You know, and that fear goes a lot farther place, a lot further than that so-called pseudo-respect that we think we have. When they know that you will knock their head off, you know, that you can slay them. And I tell them, I say, I'm the closest thing to Superman you've ever seen. Mentally, physically, or spiritually, you challenge me, I'm going to defeat you. And whichever way you choose, the method by which I defeat you. If you want to throw physically, hey, I preserve myself because I sharpen my weapon physically with living clean and living good and void of your poisons. And that goes on a mental and spiritual level too. And of course, we were born in this crooked container of this man's world. You understand? And so we have to take time to detox ourselves from it. But you stand out when you do. But they spot you as the enemy. He doesn't walk like them. He doesn't talk like them. He's an example to them. We didn't get him because if he was sucking off of the breast of our public school education, which most of us have come up, but you know what? There's certain things that they didn't teach us, and they know. How did he know this? Because we didn't teach him this. How does he look in such great shape? But we've been feeding him junk food all in his name, Burger King, Kentucky Fried, McDonald's, all in the neighborhoods. They should be all jacked up in pain. But when you walk strong and you're aware, like a meerkat out in the wild, your eyes are everywhere. You can see everything. You see, and you look them dead in the eye, and they know by the time you lift your hand to try to hit me, cracker, I would have knocked you down 3 or 4 times already. Please, I'm sharp. You look at me like I'm some killer animal out there because, see, you only look at me that way because you know what you have in your heart for me. And I'm ready to throw back at you in any which way. And I say that publicly, Lancescurv. Yes, I do. If you want peace, we can have it. If you want war, I can flip and make you think I'm damn bipolar. Well, God, we were just laughing a little while ago talking about the sports and whatever. Well, you had something for me and I beat you to the punch. I can flip on you too. That's the benefit of what we've gone through in this country.
Exactly. So, it's all about being strategic, brother. It's not about, people, sometimes people look at me and they're amazed at what I can do. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because I'm always strategizing. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes I got to turn that off and de-strategize just so I can observe something.
Right.
Remember I was telling you earlier about a lot of people watch movies for entertainment purposes?
That's right.
I watch movies sometimes, man. I don't even be looking at the actors. I be looking at what's going on in the background. One time I seen a movie. I don't remember the movie, and I'm so upset with myself that I don't remember the movie, man. But I saw a movie, and they kept flashing a license plate. And the license plate read, it was a New York license plate, too, and it read 74X9. Now, if you do the equation, I want one of you to do the equation and tell me what number that equates to. 74 times 9.
Okay, let me think now. Oh, shoot. 666. Oh, damn. Damn.
You got it, Isabel? Did you get it, Isabel?
Damn.
No, I'm still with the X, just the X factor right there, and then the number 9.
Well,
9 is...
yeah, 74
times 9. That's what it was written like that.
Okay. Oh, okay.
So just do the equation into yourself right there, because I know Lance already got it, because I heard him say, "Oh shit." That's the first time he uttered any expletives on this transmission of phone calls all day.
Oh, I got it in me now. Trust me. I'm just trying to be polite. Oh, damn.
Did you get it? Okay, well, we'll continue until Isabel gets it, because we're not going to tell her.
Right. 74 times 9.
Yeah, man. So, these are things that I observe. And, man, sometimes I be looking in the background. It'd be all kind of stuff, figures of stuff, book titles, with, like, the crazy, stuff with Anton LaVey in it. And, I mean, crazy stuff, man.
Yeah.
I even watch old movies that I've watched, like, like came out in the 80s and 90s.
Right.
Watch them again, you get a whole totally different, like, man, I didn't even watch this movie compared to watching it now and watching it in 88.
Well, you're more
I didn't even watch this movie in 88.
You're more equipped to be able to derive something out of it because you've grown.
Exactly.
You see? And
exactly.
It's almost like going back to the old neighborhood, when you move away somewhere where there's a little more space and you come back and say, man, I didn't realize things were so cramped up here. This block that was my whole world at one time when I was much younger is so small. My God, my consciousness was so small. My awareness and my whole, the boundaries. It's just from here to this corner and here, my friends, my whole world was this. You can't go back. You can physically go back, but you can't go back. Mentally put yourself. So just imagine how much more we have to go. And I just think it's sad that we live our lifespan, on this level, which is part of a continuum, and we don't get it. And my theory, which I feel is my fact, is that we all have a runway. Okay? We're all like planes. And if we don't get enough knowledge and absorb it and live it and know it and internalize it, we're not going to take flight. Some of us take flight early, and there's a lot of runway left. Some of us take flight too late and fall off the runway into whatever else is there, a lake, some woods, or whatever. So we better get this while we can so we can levitate, because I believe at that point of transition into the next level, it makes it smoother when you have more. Look, they say, oh, you can't take certain things with you. Even if we can't take 2 + 2 is 4 with us, there's something in our soul, something in our spirit, that if we get the answers and we get the awareness from this level, it's something that places us higher. It takes us to a different place. You can't tell me that you're going to sacrifice so much, get so much knowledge, and not have the benefit of what you've done on that next level. That's like you graduate in second grade and me putting you back in kindergarten. It just can't happen. You're a third grader when you graduate second grade, whether you know it or not.
Mm-hmm.
You see?
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, but overstood. Love what you just said, but you know, the dynamic that twists that all up and makes it into a mess is white supremacy, because, you know, our greatest attained such heights for us. I'm talking the real ones. I'm not talking about the ones who are famous for the sake of fame and money. I'm talking about the ones, you know, Paul Robeson, and, you know, Carlos Cooks, and, you know, some people who are even not as acclaimed as, you know, Soulja Boy. But when you talk about these guys, man, Paul Robeson, man, sacrificed a lot, and people don't mention him in the annals of a King or a Malcolm or so on and so forth, because he really came about before civil rights came about. So imagine how tough his road was. As accomplished as he was an athlete. He won a Heisman Trophy. He won a Super Bowl. He was a orator, a statesman, a great all-around athlete, a lawyer. I mean, this man was a multi-genius, man. Nobody talked about him. Nobody talking about this dude.
I always idolized him.
And you know, that was pissing them crackers off.
Oh, for sure. Malcolm X got the idea to take the United States, excuse me, let me not even say the United States.
United Nations.
The European powers who were participating in slavery to the World Court in The Hague. He wanted to finish that legacy. And that's when he became marked for death. Not because Elijah Muhammad and Farrakhan and all of them in the Nation of Islam was fighting with him. They ain't nothing but under the Shriners, under the Vatican anyway. They ain't even under the Vatican directly. They under the Shriners.
Exactly.
That's why you see Farrakhan wearing the fez when he represents under the Shriners. Exactly. So, you know, I don't want anybody to challenge me on that. Wesley Muhammad, anybody, they're best. This is fact-based information. You could not like it. You could hate me. You could, send me hate mail on Facebook. My name is Blacksmith, B-L-A-K Smith. I don't care. Disprove that, and then you got an argument with me. Disprove it first. Don't come to me with cursing and all this negative, greasy talk. I don't want to hear that. That don't mean nothing to me. I get it all the time. So, whatever.
Yeah, learn how to debate.
Exactly. I challenge Fruit of Islam dudes that wanted to kill me for telling them stuff like that. Like, bro, if you don't believe me, go find the information and then tell me I made it up. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to get into this with you, telling you I hate you and stuff like that. I love you as a brother, regardless of what your organization is. You know what I'm saying? If you black first, then you shouldn't hate me based on a difference of opinion or something that's been stated before I even knew what the hell this was all about.
And if they have a dispute, come to you on a level of intelligence and break it down that way. That's how we grow and that's how we learn. Improve it. You know what I mean?
So, people got to be who they are, man. I'm going to be who I am, man. I can't see injustice and let it go. It's just not in me.
Me neither, man. Me neither. Yeah. I can't do it.
I learn as I go. I learned some things last week. I learned some things on this phone call already. So.
I'm loving it, man.
Yeah, man.
I'm loving it. The little pauses, that's me like chewing down the knowledge. I'm digesting it. You know what I mean? It's like, it's like you take a bite
and it's all in my book. It's all of that and then some is in my book. The name of it is Boom Bye Bye, Hip Hop Will Never Die. I wrote a book in 2000. Well, it came out in 2011 called I Ain't Perfect, But Take It From Me. And that one is a semi-autobiography of how I grew up in the South Bronx. I say day 2 of hip-hop. because, and it's also on that link on lulu.com. I'm going to give it again at the end of this conversation. But
Yes.
That book is about basically how I grew up in the South Bronx and the significance of hip-hop, because hip-hop is a worldwide movement today.
Yes.
You know, you go to Budapest right now, they got a movement in Budapest language or Romanian language, and they rap in that language, and the young people there are expressing their concerns and their issues through their culture in a Budapestian way, in Romania, in Bulgaria, in Australia, in, you know, Zimbabwe. Everywhere I go, I lived in Ghana for over a year in the late 2000s, in 2008. And they have a music called Hip Life, which is their version of hip-hop in Ghana. So, you know, everywhere you go in the world, the youth have their own way of expressing their hip-hop. And it came from my hometown, the South Bronx, in the in the early 70s, and it morphed into something that has now become something that they use and turned against us. It's like our sons came back to, you know, to kill us.
Yeah.
You know, so the fathers and the elders have to save it, man. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not talking about rap, because a lot of people still don't know the difference between what rap and hip-hop is. Hip-hop is a culture. Rap is an expression.
Yes.
Commercialized rap is what's destroying the name of what hip-hop is supposed to be. Hip-hop comprises 5 things: DJing, the vocal or the MC, you know, the rapper, whatever you want to call it, because everybody who vocalizes over music is a rapper. But what makes you an MC is extolling the virtues of what hip-hop is supposed to be in a cultural way, negative or positive. You know, people think hip-hop is supposed to be positive. No, life isn't positive. Life is balanced. So like I was saying before, by any means necessary, you can give somebody a rose and it can have a bomb in it, or you can give them a bomb and it can have a rose in it. You know what I'm saying? So it's the DJing, it's the MCing or rapping, it's the graffiti art, and it's the dance. And the 5th one is the knowledge, and that's what we're doing right now, because we can represent intellect through hip-hop as well. You know, hip-hop ain't just, you know, gesturing and dancing and, you know, stupidity. It can also represent intelligence. I have a movie or a documentary on my blog. I posted it maybe in March. The name of it is Hip Hop, White Supremacy, and Capitalism. It's an excellent movie, and it shows, you know, I don't like using the word underground, because underground is something that's not exposed. It's just that these guys are not mainstream, so you got to look for the information. And hip hop is very vibrant, living. If you're looking for it on the radio or you know, on video, on mainstream television and internet, you're not going to find it there. You need to find it, you know, where it's at and support it. You know what I'm saying? CDs are now become giveaways or very inexpensive. You can buy most people's CDs now, and it's packed with good music and good information and relevant stuff for $5 if you buy it hand-to-hand. There's so much free music on the internet. We have to learn that we got to support these young guys coming up that want to do this and make money off of it, and in turn, when they get older, sponsor younger cats and so on and so on and so on. Keep it like family.
That's right.
So don't be trying to, if a guy's selling a CD for $5 and you believe in him and you like him, don't be trying to jew him down to 3 and 2, man. Buy it for $5 unless you don't have it.
And throw them extra if you
Support
can.
people. You
That's
know what
right.
I'm saying? We need to get out of that, you know, that I don't give no book away for free. None.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Now, I do favors for people. I give them free stuff. They hook me up with stuff, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not giving shit away for free, because it took me years to write that book. It's blood, sweat, and tears. Real shit. I don't ask nobody for nothing else. The only thing I ask for is donations.
Right.
I don't ask people for nothing for nothing. You know what I'm saying? We need to get out of that mentality. Oh, hook me up. You know, nah, I ain't hooking you. I don't work, man. This is how I make my money. This is how I eat.
That's right.
What we doing right now is love. It ain't no money involved in this. I'm not going to ask you for nothing at the end of this show or any of that. You know, I understand there's exposure in this and so on and so forth.
Yes.
I hope people out there really support me. Check my blog out. The blog is free. I post every other day. I've been doing it 5 years. I don't ask nobody for nothing on there. People have donated to me because they like what I do and they understand the value in that.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And I will
information
continue.
is valuable.
And
researchers get paid a lot of money.
Yeah. Oh, heck yeah. And I'll continue to do
I
so by
consult
putting it out
people.
there.
I've written 2 books. I can tell people how to put a book out. I can format it, edit it, all of those things. I used to win spelling bees. I'm not no dummy, you know what I'm saying? I speak bad English purposely because I love butchering anything that ain't originally mine.
I love that. Oh, you know you
So
have
if you want to go betwixt my mind and find out how I really think, I can talk like I'm from the South, too, and smoke that loud, all that good shit. You heard?
Heard, feel me? That's that folk shit rock, though.
Exactly. I'm all of that. I'm everything black. If it's black, I want to know about it. If it's melanin, I want to know about it.
All right, Alpha Man.
You have another caller. I'm going to open them up. It's the last person to hit number 1. Whoever this is, I opened up your line. You hit number 1. Introduce yourself.
What's up, gentlemen?
Oh,
What's up,
yes.
gentlemen? This is Naj calling from ATL, man.
Yes.
Uh-oh. Nazir? Escobar?
No, not Nasir.
Nasty
No,
Naj?
not Nasir. No,
Which one?
not him. This is Naj, man. Hey, don't be disappointed. You know I'm gonna bring something for you. Either way,
No, brother. I'm sorry, man. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man.
Welcome,
I'm gonna
brother.
Fill out my seat off that last statement. That man said, but he knows this language is not his, so every once in a while he just speaks it badly just because. Man, I so respect that, sir.
I love it.
So respect that.
That's original.
Yeah,
Thank
man.
you.
But man, if I can get into this hip hop conversation with y'all, man, I don't want to disrupt the flow, but I love the conversation. I don't know where y'all went earlier. I've only been listening for the last 5, but the big thing that sticks out when we talk about hip hop is we have to be careful about talking about the young folk as if, you know, they just dropped out of the sky. They came in this position in hip-hop because this is where we left it. And
I agree.
I mean the people our age who decided that it was better to give our music to the labels and not own what we produce and make and fall for the same okie doke again. We've created 5 genres of music since our time in America, and we don't control or own any of them. We distribute through other people. That is our fault.
Wow.
With hip-hop this last time, we should be owning this, and we should be determining what goes to the market. Since we don't, and these kids come to this situation as is, they're making the music that is going to sell, and we have allowed the wheels of capitalism to control what our youth think. And that is our fault, not theirs. They've come into this situation blind, and this is what they face. So we cannot criticize them without at least giving the lion's share to the Russell Simmons of the world and to the regular black folk of the world who didn't understand that, hey, we created this. Let's create a forum to distribute it. Let's create a forum to get people to hear it, and let's control our baby, as you would call it, man, because this is the 5th time we've done this. Blues, jazz, R&B. So we've done this before, created a genre of music, and other people profit from it. To this day, Stevie Wonder, Michael Jackson. Oh, go ahead. My bad.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I apologize. I interjected. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just going to start listing some of the names of some of these people who we created who are making other people wealthy. And all we do is get our artists rich, but we do not create a system to where people are eating off the distribution. People are eating off the plant that's producing the CDs. People are eating off the marketing. People are eating off the studio. We don't control any of that. We just have people in those places, in token view, but not many. And that is mind state is what's got to change about us, period.
Right. Well, I mean, we did address it. We didn't address it as fully in depth as you did. But I'm going to defer to Brother Lance and see if he wants to address this before I go in on it.
Oh no, I got my pen and my paper ready, and my thing is I'm not trying to pass the buck, but man, I'm a student.
No, it's cool because I don't want to harm.
Oh
the show,
no.
Let me just, we did address this, brother, but like I was saying early in the show, picture you being 17, 18 years old, from the hood, you know. Where you from, by the way, Brother Nas?
I'm from Illinois, but I'm in ATL now. Yes,
okay, okay, good. So picture being Kanye or Common or Crucial Conflict, you know, 20 years ago. And you're a 17, 18-year-old kid, and you're a young phenom, and you got some rap talent and so on and so forth, and, you know, you got a little hood fame, and, you know, you got a girl or two, and, you know, you can't afford much stuff, but, you know, you got all the drug dealers and all them, you know, backing you up because you got talent. They don't want to see you getting into the game. So now you got some young 22-year-old just out of college Jewish kid approaching you saying, hey, man, I got a record label, and I want you on it. And he shows you like $10,000 and says, hey, there's much more in this if you know, come down to the office and sign with us. You ain't got no representation. You know, your representation is your block. And your whole block is drug dealers and, you know, deadbeat dads and, you know, them kind of guys wearing dirty T-shirts, white beaters in the morning, going to, you know, see what money they can make for the day so they could get high tonight. Mm-hmm. This is your examples. And you want your mom out of that neighborhood because you already know, as soon as you heard about the Blood Money, Chief Keef's brother?
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear about him?
Yeah. Yeah.
It was about a month ago.
Yeah.
He just got a record deal. He was flashing cash and in his hood, you know, walking around, and some dude ran up on him, yo, we need some of that dough. Nah, I had F that. Pap, 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 dead.
Yep.
So what I'm saying is you talking about a 17, 18-year-old kid who for the first time seeing more than $50,000 in his face. All you got to do is sign this line. He don't know it's a loan. All he heard is $50,000. Now he signs on the dotted line. Now, of course, he's going to go crazy. I've been there before. I got a settlement. You know, I'm buying everything I got. You know what I'm saying? I got $25,000 in cash. I can go buy whatever I want right now.
Right.
I ain't got to wait. I ain't got to put it on layaway. I ain't got to wait for it to go on sale. It's 20% off. I know I could buy that shit right now. Now, flash 3 years when your album ain't selling, you know. Now we in the day of the internet, so you know we talking 10, 15 years ago, easy now. Now your album ain't selling, and the IRS say you owe $100,000. You owe your record label $150,000. You got 3 baby mamas.
3.
You got a house in Buckhead. Now what? What you gonna do?
Yeah, it gets tough, and then you get to the real stresses of life. But no matter what, I stick to what I said the first time, man. We got to talk about where the source of the problem is. And when we talk about these things, we treat it like we treat regular problems in America. We treat symptoms. We don't treat the disease. So we say, oh, these young brothers, they lost. They doing this. No, the problem is the generation before him didn't have the business.
The problem is white supremacy.
Oh, of course.
Because they created all the conditions for the symptoms to exist. Period. I mean, we could blame each other all day and night.
Yeah,
we get, of course, I know what you mean. Let me tell you why white supremacy is more responsible than us. In, you know, I would presume you're at least 40, but if you're not, let me tell you why white supremacy still is the problem over that. Because this same 17-year-old, 18-year-old kid don't got no father. So who's his example? The drug dealers that are 2 and 3 years older than him that's telling him, go ahead, man, yo, I got $100 for you to go in the studio tonight. So this is his examples. Lupe Fiasco is a perfect example. Is exactly what I'm telling you.
No, I agree 100, man. And if you want to talk about like white supremacy and taking it to a bigger realm and talking about the whole world and what we're facing, no, I agree 100. And me just laying that at the feet of the previous generation, of course, that means that I'm not going deep enough if I'm not discussing white supremacy. The article by Ta-Nehisi Coates last week about the case for reparations, that was one of the most mind-blowing things some people have seen because they don't know the true history of America. I posted in your chat room, and in it, it's post-slavery. It's talking about what black people went through after slavery. So, you know, people try to throw out, oh, slavery was a long time ago. Well, you don't understand what we're talking about, because we're talking about what led to now.
Well,
and,
we stood at, and I mentioned all of that too, and Brother Lance could be my witness. It's just slavery updated. Now, instead of being enslaved to a slave master and a piece of land, you enslaved, bonded to a job or to a debit card with food stamp money on it, or a welfare case, or, you know, Section 8, or driver's license, or whatever.
No, I agree with that 100, man. I just posted the article in your chat. Great article. It documents it all from red line.
Yeah, I have the article. I know what you're talking about. So
I'm talking to Lancescurv. I should know
you
know. I should know you know. I'm talking to Lancescurv, man. He knows what the deal is. But yeah, that is the official problem. Now, how do we solve that problem? Simply land and culture. We start working with each other on a local level. And I'm not talking about calling Oprah for some money. The money won't come from the top. The solidarity has to start at regular working class black people.
It won't come from the top of the financial pyramid you talking about?
Oh no, that game never works. You can look at any revolution or any change.
But then when you say top, I consider Dr. John Henry Clark the top, not, you know, people that got money. So that's why I asked.
Man,
got to make sure it's a common denominator.
Now you said it. Put Dr. Clark at the top, and you start following his ideology. Follow people like Dr. Amos Wilson, Dr. Clark, Claude Anderson. The plans are out there. We've had the plans for a long time, and I'm sick of black folks. Dude, I'm sick of black folks thinking they the first generation of black folks who got an education or that did things right. No, we've done that for a long time. It's just understanding that we have to operate as a group the same way everybody else is. Everybody else is. If they're operating as a group and practicing against you, you can't operate as an individual and think you're going to win. That's a bad idea. So once we understand that, things will change. And I think things have to get worse before they get better, because right now people still think that everything is free and open and black people just don't pull up their pants or work hard enough or any of this other, you know, silly garbage we believe nowadays. No. Black people have to understand that we have our own destiny in our hands, and we need to work together. Once we do that and start spending money with each other, working with each other, putting our own educational paradigm together, then we will start to grow and become this huge power that we are. We are one of two people who have a billion in this world.
Nas, you know, fundamentally I agree with you, but let me just add one little catchism to everything you're saying.
Go ahead.
The majority of us are never going to agree. We're not a monolithic people. We don't need the majority of us. Well, I was telling Lance early in this conversation that we need to rally around one idea. The reason why we were so successful in the 60s was because we rallied around King or Malcolm. Okay.
Yeah, but
and when it was obvious,
that will come with time, though. You're not going to get everybody at the beginning. Hell, the civil rights movement, they never had more than 10,000 black people at a single event. So there were people out there who were on fire and pushing for civil rights, and there were other black people who were saying these Negroes are crazy. Y'all need to, calm down. But so there's always that group of folks. Go ahead.
Of course, and in actuality, that's the majority, because Elijah Muhammad used to always say you have the 85% of the people were the deaf, dumb, and the blind, the masses, the followers. The 10% were the bloodsuckers of the poor. They're the politicians, preachers, lawyers, and professional class. The talented tenth that the boys came up with, during the Niagara movement, and they which wound up becoming the NAACP. And then you got the 5%, who I think we all represent in this conversation, talking about the real shit.
Exactly.
Or, we're not rich guys or whatever the case may be. So what I'm saying is, until white supremacy is defeated, and I don't think that any black man has the solution, we're going to always have this dynamic, and we're going to be talking ourselves into a circle. So what I would say is get and build with those people who feel the same way you do, and build with them. Because if you're trying to get 85% of the people, you already know who they are. If you're trying to get that other 10%, you already know who they are. We can't mess with any of those people. And there are a lot, by the way.
Your point, but I disagree by a lot. But like,
well, hold on,
look,
but let me finish.
Right,
because I got something to say. I'm about to address exactly what I think you disagree with.
Okay.
If we're really, and this is going to the solutions part, and I thought I was going to get to this a little later, but we're talking about it, so I'm going to touch on it now. And Umar Johnson says the same thing. If we think we're going to get money from those black elite like Bill Cosby and Michael Jordan and all these rich niggas that got all this money, niggas in Paris type shit. If we think we're going to get money from them, we have to do it. They have to do it anonymously, because those clauses in those contracts are written such that those people can't help us. They can't even put their name near anything that got anything to do with anything that's black. Did you ever notice when you watch these NBA commercials? And the playoffs are happening, so I know even if you're just glancing at the TV, you're going to see an occasional commercial. When the NBA players are like doing NBA-sponsored commercials on TV and stuff, and they're like doing some charity event at some school, it's always some white kid that looks deformed on the screen with them. That got these diseases, like 70 people in the whole world got it.
Yeah, that's the way it works.
Because that's the way it works. So don't expect to see them at some, gym in the South Bronx or in, Watts or, the South Side of Chicago or, the Fifth Ward in Houston or College Park in Atlanta or in, Hollywood, Miami, or anywhere where we are the majority advocating like, I'm saying, I'm taking 40 kids to Africa and all this.
No, that's not going to happen.
Right.
Let me interject really quick.
Larry Johnson had to damn retire from the NBA before he started doing all that radical shit he's supposedly doing.
Let me make an announcement really quick. If you're listening
There's a reason why Oprah built a school in South Africa. There's a reason why 50 Cent said he's going to try to eradicate poverty and hunger in Africa.
I got to make an announcement really quick before the time runs out.
Sorry.
We have time. But for those who are listening by computer, the live stream is going to be cut off in 5 minutes. So you're going to have to call in. If you're already called in, you're good. Stay right where you are. But if you're listening by computer and you want to hear the last hour of this dynamic and very powerful conversation, you're going to have to call in. The call-in number is 760-259-2310. Again, that's 760-259-2310, the Lancescurv Show. And if you happen to miss the last hour or you have something else to do, which I don't think there's anything else you could be doing that's more important than listening to this right now, it will be up on YouTube under the channel Lancescurv. It'll be on the blog, Lancescurv.com. It'll be up on Stitcher, iTunes, and SoundCloud under Lancescurv. And just hit us up and give us information for the book. I'm going to play a little commercial. Give us the information for the book and your blog and everything, and then we're going to come right on back into this.
Okay. I have an embedded link for my book. The name of it, again, is Boom Bye Bye, Hip Hop Will Never Die. The subtitle is an expose on the entertainment industry with a focus on hip-hop. And you can get that book if you want to get at it directly. If you want your autographed copy, personally autographed copy, I made an order. My book shipped out, I believe, yesterday. It should be getting here in a day or two. You can hit me on Facebook. My name is Blak, Blak, Blak Smith, Smith. You can hit me on Facebook and friend me, you know what I'm saying? I'm the ugliest dude you ever seen in the picture. Also, my blog is www.black, regular spelling, BLACK, 2, number 2, Africa, AFRIKA.blogspot.com. I usually have a link in there on my articles, and my articles are talking about exactly what we're talking about today. Hit me up. My PayPal information and all how to order the book is in there. But if you want a personally autographed copy, you got to get at me. If you order it from the site, it's just going to come to you as it is.
That's right. And I want to say that all of these links, I will put up on every platform that I am on social media, and especially with this recording tonight as it's spread out there. So if you happen to miss it, don't think it's lost. It's right there. Let me just hit this little sound bite. We're going to come back.
Okay.
The mainstream media, littered with propaganda. A dark, endless sea void of truth. But miraculously, a light shines through. Exposing the frauds for who they are. Every time he creates. Introducing the boldest man on the net. Lancescurv.
I'm on some superhero shit. But come on, let's continue, man.
Yeah, if I could just kind of speak to some of the points he made, as far as just talking about wealthy athletes or wealthy black people, as far as them contributing.
They're not wealthy, they're rich.
Well, yeah, of course. But here's the thing. No matter what, if they started to turn towards that, then they would be demonized through the media, and they would start attacking them and make them not what they are right now, which is kind of rich, which is not something that you can pass on through generations because it's not enough money to handle that kind of scandal. So they know that. They know the position they're in. When you
There's no
spoke
such
about
thing as a rich black person.
Yeah. So that whole issue of
excuse
those
me,
people
I'm sorry,
coming as
wealthy black
No, you're
person.
good.
I apologize.
No, you're good. As long as we understand that issue of there's no rich person coming with a bag of money to save us, then we're a lot better off. Now, the one point I disagreed on was as far as us not having a plan. The plan is simple. Kwame Ture said it 20 years ago: organize, organize, organize. If you're a black person, you're concerned about poverty, you get with the group in your local area that's concerned with poverty. If you're worried about creating some kind of businesses with black businesses in your area, you get with those people who are doing that. So that is always the answer. And once you start getting with people in organizations, you get turned on to other organizations, and you try to reach 10 people or more, and then those people try to reach more, and so on, and it just moves. The issue is understanding that some people aren't ready to be helped or to understand what's going on in this world. So you try to recruit them. They say no, you say okay, and you keep it moving. The same way you do in the club when you try to talk to women. You take that no and keep it moving and just keep going with it. Organize, organize, organize. I just started working with a group down here, and it's brought a special kind of fulfillment to not just be talking about some of this stuff as far as black economics and black nationalism and actually be putting in the work, man. It's a whole different feeling, man, that you get from actually putting that work in. And that is our answer. As long as we understand that, no matter how bad things get in America, that actually helps us because it brings more black people to the fold and understanding, look, you're not getting a square deal out here. You need to come over here with us so we can start building something and control your life and not have to go into some interview room and embarrass yourself by being someone you're not for 30 minutes to impress a white person. So we have to get rid of that whole mindset and that whole lifestyle. And like I said, things are going to have to get worse for it to happen because black people still believe what mass media tells them about America instead of understanding the hard truth that group power is where it's at.
Right. So is that your solution to white supremacy, Brother Nas?
Yes. Organize, organize, organize. Because once you do that, then you start building political functions. Then you start building economic functions. And then you start understanding that you need a security force so you don't end up like Black Wall Street or Rosewood. Because those were the holes in those guys, very vibrant and very real structures that they built. They changed the whole landscape of America, but they missed the one point of defending themselves. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, let me ask you something. Where are you going to buy your weaponry from?
That's the other part. The idea of you have to constantly buy and re-up from other people. No, you buy your initial weapons. You buy your initial weapons from other people, and you're a student of Dr. Clark, so you know what he would say. You take those weapons apart, understand what it takes to build them, and I don't care if you have to go back to 80s era weaponry to the point of it has to be real simplistic, or Soviet area plastic weaponry, AK-47s or whatever it is. It seems to do a pretty good job for insurgents all across the world. We can defend ourselves. The question is, are we willing to?
You know why I disagree with you on that? The black man as a man who I believe is God, you know, and I'm not trying to get into that as a debate now. I'm just saying, black people as a whole are God, and the black man as a whole didn't have. A spear was a good enough weapon for us because we're warriors. We fight for a cause. We don't fight for money, or we don't fight as mercenaries. We don't fight for the sake of fighting. We fight because you disrespected our people. Mm-hmm. So we're never going to amass a group of people who are going to buy tanks, helicopters, and, you know, artillery, you know, military weaponry to go fight.
No, I disagree completely. That will happen. Change is something that's constant in the world.
Where are
nothing
you buying
is static.
It from?
Nothing stays
Where
the same.
Are you buying it from?
Well, for one, you can buy it anywhere right now. You can't buy it in large amounts like we're talking about. But when you're talking about just protecting small structures, you just start from the beginning. You're not going to start out with an arsenal that can take over a country. And I'm not talking about armed combat to where we're taking or going against white supremacy. I'm saying enough weapons to where you can defend yourself. That's all I'm talking about. And with the
we're
new
talking
way
about defending ourselves from white supremacy, though.
Exactly.
Because
so you would need a security
even
force.
If you're fighting
all of these
other
lost young brothers who you see out here who are in gangs and shooting each other over territory and small amounts of money, that can be a security force if properly structured and if properly educated after we build something worth protecting. We can't ask them to be revolutionary young black men if we haven't built the structure and institutions for them first. That has to come first, and then you can recruit those young men to come in and protect what you've built. Like I said, that is the one mistake made by Rosewood and by Black Wall Street. They didn't have any ways of defending themselves. And in those days, things were much harder to do as far as gathering weapons. It's a lot easier now. And I think the self-determination of people is a human right, and all black people should feel like, yes, I should be able to defend my home, my family, and once we build it, our community. But we don't have one right now.
Okay. Well, I'm going to have to beg to differ with you. I love what you're saying. Don't take it like I'm being, like, you know, argumentative or anything like that. But
hey,
I don't.
Disagreement is part of life, my brother.
If you can't roll a tank down your street, then you're not going to defend your. Do you know that every major big city in the United States police force has paramilitary training?
Yes.
Man, hold on. Let me tell you something about history and war. They do have paramilitary training. They do have better weaponry. But do you see how bogged down they are in Iraq and Afghanistan? The reason is the willingness to die is not present. When you have an army,
I have no problem with that. Now you're talking.
Right. When you have an army that's basically an army of what do you call it, mercenaries, which is what the police force would be, which is what the National Guard would be, who they would try to attack you with. Those people are not willing to die like somebody willing to defend their land. So that's why it's so hard for them when they go to some of these small countries and they're fighting people with just AK-47s and IEDs, because those people are willing to die. That's the way the world has always been. When
what
Africa
about the Palestinians? They doing it with rocks. They don't even got, you know, like something to propel the rock. They throwing them shit.
and
that's what I was telling you about as far as warriors. We fight for causes. We don't fight. We don't fight to make money.
Right, and this is part of what civilization is. When you had Africa at the top of the world and people had a better standard of living than those in the Mediterranean, meaning the Greeks and Romans, when the Greeks and Romans came down, those soldiers were willing to die because they had nothing to look forward to and no life really to accept besides what they could get through war. The African peoples who were out there were actually soldiers who had families, who had a life, who had civilization. They were civilized men fighting barbarians. And when you have that kind of conflict, man, no matter what kind of technology you have, you're going to have trouble fighting those people. And at a certain point, they cannot. Yeah. So the way things are right now is actually a benefit to us when you start talking about defense. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay. All right. Well, you know, to that, I have to agree with you. I'm glad we ended on a good note. What I would tell people out there is to study military science. I love my people so much. I don't want to see anybody. It has been estimated that the white man has killed 1 billion people, outright killed them. Now, that don't include those who never even had the chance to born children. So how many more billions can you add to that?
Killed 1 billion and taken at least 4 people off of this earth. When we're talking about Tasmania, talking about originally what Cuba was, and some of the other Caribbean islands. Yes, yes, I agree.
The original Puerto Ricans who were Boricua, who were very dark-skinned.
Yeah, dude, I'm finding your book tonight, man. I posted it up in the chat room to make sure that I can remember. It's good talking to you on this line. Lancescurv, always, man.
Always, brother.
For the show, brother.
Always.
And, brother Nas, friend me, man. Let's be friends, and then let's exchange math later on.
Yes.
Hey, if you on Twitter, man, I'll mess with you, man. I can't mess with Facebook, man. There's too many stupid people on there, man. They drove me crazy.
Just delete them, man. I don't stand for no.
I agree with you. I stay on it.
Twitter, but just
yeah.
What's your handle on Twitter?
I'm going to give it again, so don't worry. So stay in touch with me, and let's exchange phone numbers, and then we'll be in touch.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. What's your Twitter right now? I'll follow you right now.
I don't even know it because I barely use it, but I'm on it. Just get with the SCURV. He'll give you my number. I don't want to say it on air because I don't want just anybody having my number.
Exactly.
No question.
Okay.
All right, man. I'm gonna hang up and listen to y'all. Well,
but you got my number now, right? You got my number, right?
Well, I'm going to hit you on DM right now.
Okay. Bet. And I'll get it to you. Definitely.
All right.
Thanks, man. It's always a pleasure.
Lance, give me a time frame on how much time we got, because I want to get into some solution-based situations before we go. You know,
okay,
I don't want to rush it and cram it and then miss something.
We have about 40 minutes. 40 minutes left.
Okay.
Because it'll automatically cut off about 3:28 Eastern Standard Time. So we have about I say about 40 minutes. So the floor is yours, man. Let it flow. Okay.
You got another caller?
Let me see. If you want to hit it up, Miss S off of the West Coast, hit number 1 if you want to add something in. But she might be shy. I know who it is. I know the number. But continue on. If she wants to join in, she'll hit number 1 and I'll see it. Because right now, the live stream is cut off, actually. So the last hour, see, the show was scheduled for 2, but on Blog Talk, whatever time you have or you schedule your show, they give you half the time, like an after show. But the people who are listening by computer will cut off, so who's here is here. So there'll be no new callers added in, but when the recording is uploaded and the whole MP3 is played over, they'll hear the whole show. So we'll just flow. And whoever else is on, your lines are open, and let's boogie.
All right, if we don't got no callers, we can get into the solution part.
Yes.
You know, I don't want people to despair and so on and so forth.
And it will be heard. When I get it all up, they'll hear this part of it also. So let's drop as much knowledge as we can, and periodically 2 or 3 more times, you know, the information about the book. But go ahead, brother.
Okay. Okay. Well, as far as solutions are based, as far as solutions are concerned, what I try to tell people is, we spoke on this earlier today. As far as the youth coming up, so let's take a 17-year-old kid, you know, from the hood, any hood, USA, you know, USG, US Ghetto, whatever you want to call that. You know what I'm saying? From New Orleans, from, you know, Dallas, Texas, from, you know, Phoenix, Arizona, from San Francisco, from Oakland, from Philadelphia, anywhere they at. You know what I'm saying? I'm shouting everybody out. Cincinnati, Ohio, Cleveland.
Dallas, Texas.
Yeah, all those places, all them good places. Let's say you got a 17-year-old kid, he's coming up in the game, good, you know, he's talented, you know, people want him, you know, he's making CDs, he got a little hood fame and so on and so forth. What I want people to do is what the movement I'm trying to base is going to be not something based on the system of white supremacy with contracts and so on and so forth. I want it to be based in spirituality. I want people to be real. I want people to tell the truth. Meaning, you're a 35-year-old man. You got 3 kids in your hood, you know, 17-year-olds, and they got something good going, and, you know, they pumping. You know what I'm saying? They ask you for studio time because you was a rapper, you know, 20 years ago, and you made a little fame, and, you know, you got a studio and, you know, you got a little, you know, you charge them, everything is straight up. As soon as one person violate any tenant in what they doing, you know, you just stop messing with them and move on. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You know, everything based in truth. You know, grown men don't string no kids out. You know what I'm saying? So if you tell somebody, hey, you know, your studio session, I got you from 8 to 11. If you can't make it, you call them and you tell them, yo, I can't make it. You don't have to give them an excuse. Right. You're a grown man. You got family. You got issues. You got things in life you got to do. You know what I'm saying? The kids understand. They keep it pushing. They go to another studio or they wait for the next event, you know, for the next studio session. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all got something going on together.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? They get a deal or they get some kind of, you know, promoters asking them to do venues and shows and stuff like that. You help them seek management or you manage them. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you get paid, you get paid. You start, the manager or the person overseeing their career starts teaching them how to do the books. One guy does the books. One guy does the bookings, you know, the plane rides, the venues, and so on and so forth, so that, you know, nobody's saying I'm a rapper. Since I've been on this phone call, I've told you about 10 things I can do already.
Yeah.
I rap. I know how to produce beats. I don't know how to engineer. You know, but I could put a beat together for anybody and say, okay, when you rhyme, this is what I'm hearing.
Mm-hmm.
So put this with that and this and that, and next thing you know, you got a foundation. And then the engineer, he hears something, and he might add a synth. He might add a drum kick. He might add this, that, and the third. Now you got a song. Now you rap over it. You know what I'm saying? So somebody learns how to engineer. So now you get a studio. You know, this ain't back in the days, you know, 1995, where you needed, you know, Pro Tools and $5,000 mics and all this and that. Now you can build a studio for $1,000, $2,000 now.
Exactly.
All you need is good monitors, a laptop, and and some software.
I'm building one now on my property.
You know, yeah. If you get a Mac, you don't even need all that stuff. All you need is the monitors and some good mics.
Mm-hmm.
You can get an excellent mics now for $100. You know what I'm saying? Of course, you need the room and the space and so on and so forth. But if you got a mom or a family member that believes in you, they can let you borrow their basement for a few hours a night.
Well, let me drop something on you real quick.
Even though we need to base this in spirituality. It's not on a profit-based level. This is about developing talent and starting from the bottom up as opposed to the top down. Remember back in the days when, in the 90s, maybe this stopped in the 90s or early 2000s, when albums used to debut at number one? How does the album debut at number one? You never heard of this guy. He might even be from your neighborhood. You never heard of this guy until he debuted at number one. Who debuted him at number one? How are you starting at the top?
Exactly. It tells you some funny business is going on.
Right, Tone Loc and Young MC, it came out of nowhere. Funky Cole Medina and Wild Thing and Busta Move and all this and that. Nobody heard of these dudes before. Young MC is from your hood. Originally, he made it in L.A. on Wild Pitch record, on Delicious Vinyl, but he's from Queens. You feel me? So, we not trying to we trying to base all of this on Ma'at. Going back to the original, we got to take it back, man. We can, and it ain't about talking. It ain't about rhyming like the golden era. You gonna rhyme like Brand Nubian or Public Enemy or something. No, that's not what I'm talking about.
Right.
I'm talking about rhyming about hip hop. We're not taking it back to the rhyming style or whatever. We're gonna take it back to the essence of what it's originally supposed to stand for.
Back on course.
Doing stuff in your living room. 20 people show up. Everybody got to pay something. You got to pay $1 to get in here.
That's right.
Somebody got to showcase their talent. It ain't about money. This is about showcasing talent and developing. And you got a skill, you got a skill, you got a skill. How can we utilize everybody that this person knows that has their best interests at heart? Not profit-based. To make sure you get to a point where we can all profit from this.
That's right. That's right.
Developing it. You feel me?
And see, let me just interject
I'm
something.
not talking about making money and stuff like that. In the beginning of it, I'm talking about developing people
Blood, sweat,
so
and
that
tears.
everybody can eat from it and everybody's getting paid what they should.
That's right.
Pay what pay as you weigh, basically. I'm sorry, you were going to say.
Yeah. Let me just say, on my property, I'm in the process of building a brick and mortar studio. I mean, I have a studio in the house, and I'm putting it out there. I really don't care who knows and who doesn't like it, but it's going to be sizable according to code. We're building it professionally. It will be like another house back there, not the size of a house. It'll be small, 25 feet by 25 feet, 15 feet high, cinder block. The inside is going to be totally what I want it to be for internet broadcasts, for recording, and I don't have to buy all the super expensive equipment, but it will be a place, you see, and I'm going to do a radio station, AM. It might go 10 miles around. I'm right in the middle of Black Orlando, sitting at the highest point. So I'm going to definitely have you come back on and speak to a lot of the youth, because I'm going to do a lot of things from the grassroots level like that. I can build this stuff, and I can do this stuff at my age where maybe somebody a lot younger doesn't have it on their mind, but it will influence them when I get them in here, and do my thing and extend what I do. Because if I had it up, what we're speaking now will be broadcast all throughout Orlando, 10 miles around, you see, and I already have everything.
Prime Hills?
Yeah, Pine Hills. Pine Hills.
No, Prime Hills.
Prime Hills, yeah, right? Prime Hills.
You on Murder Drive?
No, I'm not too far. I'm not too far from there. I'm not too far.
Where you at.
Yeah, I'm about 2 miles up Hiawassee. Folks know where I live there.
I know exactly where you at.
Yeah. I'll put it this way. It's on Hiawassee, above Silver Star, and below Claricona Coe, but closer to the post office. So, people know. People, they pretty much know where I live, all over the city. You know what I mean? So, and I do have very good security. So come near the Not you. You're always welcome. But the knuckleheads, come close, and I got you. You're recorded.
Right.
And just like the man at the block, I had to interject this part. The man at the block who brings his dog down here and shits on the side of my yard, on the sidewalk, I'm going to dump it right at your front door. I'm going to start doing that. You need to scoop your shit up. But go ahead, brother. I don't want to take you off point.
No, man. Come on, man. You talking real business right there, man. Brother, I'm down for it, man. Like I told you earlier, I lived in Orlando, Florida before. I spent a lot of time out there.
You really did.
Trying to organize this stuff, man. And, that's a whole nother, we could talk about that longer than what we're talking about right now.
It really is backward.
Neither here nor there. You know what I'm saying? I was a little ahead of my time. It's all good, learning experiences and so on and so forth. I was straight out of New York when I moved out there.
Oh man, they weren't ready for you.
That attitude,
they weren't ready for you.
Fly, you know what I'm saying?
They weren't
all good because there's a saying that goes: if they ain't messing with you, then that means you ain't doing nothing. And I was sure enough agitating, you know what I'm saying? So, it went down how it went down, and it only made me stronger and made me more knowledgeable about who I am.
Oh, yeah. And I had my battles down here also, definitely. Law enforcement and all kind of stuff. I was in corrections. They fired me. They found out what I did. They tried to say it was something else light. Oh, he fed the inmates extra food, so we have to get rid of him. It was what I knew and what I was about when they went up on the website. And the militiamen and the Klansmen didn't like it up top. We can't have somebody who's so enthusiastic about his people around our niggers who are feeding us and keeping the court officers and the judges and the lawyers and keeping us in overtime. But I was down here doing the job. I did the job, but they didn't like the influence that I had. So, phooey on them. I'm living better now and still have my freedom.
Right. They all they doing is taking a curse and turning it into a blessing.
Oh, yes.
You learn from it, and pressure makes diamonds. Man. Right.
Well, let's continue with the solutions.
Solution-based idea that I wanted to project to to everybody, because if you're over 40, you probably have children in their teenage years or in their early 20s, or even babies. But the point I'm making is that we have to get to a point, and this is personal to everybody out here listening. Everybody. I don't care who you are. Whether you one-day-old baby or 100 years old, senior citizen. We have to get to a point where we have to understand that money is currency, and currency means that it goes and it comes. And we have to understand that money, as defined today, like marriage, is being used as a tool against us. The institution of marriage has been bastardized in the last 20, 25 years. Black people as a whole don't get married anymore because of the financial ramifications when you break up.
You're right.
Okay, so with money, we have to understand that a 22-year-old kid that started developing himself from 17 to 18 years old should be comfortable making $100,000 a year at 22. And with that money, if he doesn't have 5 kids or 8 kids or whatever, and he needs to buy a house to house all these kids in one place and all this and that, he can live comfortably on $50,000, $60,000 a year. Take that $40,000 and invest it in other stuff, and now you're making money. So what I was telling you before, you have one guy who's a booking agent, you have another guy who's helping the manager, so he's learning everything, the overall business. We have to have this mentality, and this is why I brought up Paul Robeson earlier, a little while ago, and people like that. We have to have people who have to think of themselves as multi-geniuses, so that you develop an aptitude to learn everything, so that you can now apply it. Yeah. I can edit people's books. I can give them ideas, and I can format it. I can, I've titled people's books. You know what I'm saying? I rap. I know how to produce music. There's so many things. I can speak publicly. I do it all the time. You know what I'm saying? I do these interviews. I'm a writer, So all of these things. I mean, I'm just telling you some of the things off the top of my head. There's so many more things that I can do. You know what I'm saying? I have a lot of skills and talent. I can cook. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot about nutrition. I try to make myself a specialist on the 9 people activities as stated by Neely Fuller in his compensatory code, book on that Frances Cress Welsing, Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, took to base her book on the ISIS papers, a theory on the colors of something like that. I don't remember the subtitle of her book, but basically the 9 people activities that we need to master to become Islam or Muslim. Not in a religion form, but as in I self-law and master.
Yes.
Are economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. So I try to research everything that I can in there in order to know enough about all of that so as to direct our people. I'm a student of Amos Wilson. And people like that. He wrote one of the greatest books ever written. The name of that one was called The Blueprint for Black Power. And through that, you should have your food, clothing, and shelter, because those are the 12 essential needs anybody has to live in order to have a sustainable society.
Especially us.
Right. And then have your mental, physical, and spiritual levels all intact.
Perfect. It's perfect, man.
Right. So if you got less than 6 of those, man, you in trouble. And we probably only got 2 or 3. We give away practically all of our entertainment. We're being educated by others. Those who don't teach you right won't treat you right. You know what I'm saying? So just think about it, as individuals out there, and yourself as well, Brother Lance.
Yes.
Who's controlling your economics? Who's controlling your education? Who's controlling your entertainment? So on and so on and so on. Go down the line. We don't make the laws. Who we working for?
That's right.
Laboring for.
That's right.
What religions are we following? That's one that's in your control. I'm either no religion or all of them at the same time.
Exactly. I've rejected.
The one we control is sex. But if you got 8 kids with 8 different women and you a millionaire like Yasin Bey, Brother Mos Def, you know what I'm saying? Part of the reason why he left and live in South Africa now is because, he owes so much money in child support. Now, we know the brother's financially well off, but, what's the child support payment for somebody who got 7 kids.
Jeez. And you make that kind of money, you see, so they would just come after
Exactly.
him.
But I mean, can he support him? You know
Right,
what I'm saying?
right.
You know,
They're gonna-
labor. You know, sex, war. You know, and like the brother Nas was saying. You know, I disagreed with him on certain points. You know what I'm saying? We do need to defend ourselves, but who are you buying your weaponry for?
Right.
And he went to and said, he kind of hinted at it, but he didn't really go in on it. If you're buying weapons from the 80s in 2014, that's like the Iraqis that were fighting the United States military with Scud missiles. Them shits was made in the 70s. You know, that's like playing an analog song today with digital music.
Right.
You hear the difference. It'll still sound good, but it ain't gonna sound like a digital file.
Exactly.
Digital file's clean and perfected, and you know, digitized and everything. You know, they can take out all the distortion, you know, from the tape and from the one track.
Right. Only if you like the scratches or the hiss.
Exactly. So I mean, you're never gonna beat them that way. We got to beat them on the spirit. We got to do it always, because Khalid Muhammad was one of our greatest soldiers ever, a warrior.
Indeed.
He ain't get taken out by no bullets or no, you know, police jumping him.
Mm-hmm.
He got taken out by one of us.
Mm-hmm.
A chick with a fat ass that he couldn't resist. Can't trust a big butt and a smile, my brother. So, you know, that's why I tell people study military science. And if you read The Art of War by Sun Tzu, and every president and every senator and every major politician and CEO and all that is made to read those books.
Yep.
Sun Tzu repeatedly said the best war that you can fight is the one you never have to throw a punch in. Forget about a bomb or launching a missile or anything like that. You don't need, not even a punch.
It's deep.
You feel me?
And I mentioned that book earlier. I've glimpsed through, but I've got to get it. I want to get it tomorrow and read it from cover to cover. Yeah.
I love my people so much that I don't want to see them go through that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we already had 1 billion people die. You know, and I'm sure, you know, I'm sure the Japanese had plenty, and the Chinese during the Boxer Rebellion, and so many others. But, you know, I'm sure out of that billion, I'm sure maybe 700 million of them were us.
That's right.
Nobody else has gone through a transocean slave trade before. Even the native Africans, they who don't consider us African anymore. I lived in Africa. I know what I'm telling you. You know, I ain't fantasize about it. I already did it. I'm over that shit in actuality. You know? So all I'm saying is that, you know, that ain't the way to go. You know what I'm saying? It's every way. You know, why we not talking about juju and voodoo and stuff like that? All it means is submission to God. It's just another form of religion. That's what got the Haitians free. The only successful revolution in the Western Hemisphere was theirs.
But see, the oppressor doesn't want you to know about those things. You're supposed to be so scared of it, but he wants you to get into his religion so he can keep you oppressed. But he wants to know about those things, you see? And that's innate in us. I mean, you know, from a knowledge of the plants and all things spiritual, and, you know, knowing how to make it rain, know how to make things happen, you know, we can't talk about those things. We can't talk about having...
Wesley Snipes didn't go to prison for tax evasion. He went to prison because he was trying to start a school in
Georgia,
in the woods in Georgia.
I'm in Ra.
To teach military science, like I was telling you a little while ago. And if you understand military science, again, the best military science is to not even throw a punch.
Deep. They can't have us knowing this. They can't have us realizing this and knowing this and infiltrating their system. And we're in every sphere of this system here in America. You know, so they don't know what we know and what we don't know. You know, I have people who are co-workers that look at me like, what is this guy up to? People in the street, cops, people that just follow the blog, follow the YouTube videos. Hey, Lance, how you doing? You know, some old redneck cop somewhere across town letting me know, you know, we got our eye on you. You know, I walk nowhere without my camera. I'm ready to record stuff at a moment's notice. I don't even take out the garbage without taking my camera. Oh yeah, I'm always strapped with that. They know. I had a stranger in what store was it? It was a farmer's market. He was standing in the line in front of me. Hey, Scurv, you're not recording us, are you? I said, I have enough file and data on this place. And you. Don't worry about it. It would be redundant. Scared them, you know?
Yeah, and let me tell you something, man. I'm glad you touched on that, because that's a beautiful thing you just said. Actually, white people respect people like us.
Oh, most definitely.
They don't like none of us, but they respect you because you know what time it is.
Exactly.
You know, too many black people, not all, but too many black people want to be liked.
You're so right.
That is so important for black people. Remember I was talking earlier about that? I was like, oh, we can't be like them. What the fuck you mean you can't be like them? I'm for not. I'm not telling no black people to go murder innocent white people who never did nothing to them.
But defend yourself.
What I'm talking about.
Exactly. You're still supposed to embrace them.
I had a saying back in the days called "Take 10." It's like Emmett Till. All right, take 10 of their kids. I was before I was born. I wasn't born during that time. You weren't even born.
Exactly.
So I'm not making shit up for people to, say, "Oh, damn, this nigga's radical. He want to kill all white people." No.
Any snake will do.
I want them to leave us alone.
Exactly.
Man, you go on a plane, man. When I went to Ghana a few years ago, man, I thought I was going to damn Omaha, Nebraska, or Duluth, Minnesota, or some shit. Almost as many white people on the plane as black people.
Yeah, that's something.
And they ain't going there for vacation. They going there because they live there.
Right.
They gold mining, and they got money invested in that shit.
That's right. But we can't see ourselves as citizens of the world. We can't see ourselves.
There are more white people in Ghana than there are African Americans that live there. I ain't talking about the ones visiting.
Right.
I'm talking about the ones that live there.
That's a damn shame. And they're benefiting from our resources.
All the time, brother. All the time.
Chinese are over there big time.
People got to change, man. In other words, basically what I'm saying is, as far as the solutions, we can't want what they got, man. And it don't mean I want people to live in the hood their whole life and not want a nice house and a nice way of living. That's not what I mean, man.
Oh, I understand.
I mean, you could be living in Buckhead in some house that's going to balloon into a payment of, if you can't buy a house outright, I'm not talking about, financing a house in a decent neighborhood that costs you $150,000. I'm talking about buying a house in Buckhead, buying a house in Forest Hills, Park Avenue, a condo, Park Avenue, 57th Street. If you can't buy that shit, you can't afford it.
Right.
This is why I was making that distinction with Brother Nas about the difference between rich and wealth. There's no black man on the world who's wealthy, because wealthy people don't need money. They create money. From the resources that we're talking about in Africa.
That's right.
And when they can't get it, how they want it, then they go send in the military.
It's a damn shame, but it's the truth.
The Fed pays the military. The Fed is a private bank. The Fed is not a good United States funded bank. It is a private bank owned by the billionaires, the wealth of they don't deal with money. They make phone calls and shit get done. They don't need money. They own Benz.
Right.
They own Mercedes-Benz. Right. They own the newspapers. They own the internet. They own the phone lines we talking on. They own all of this shit. They're the owners. You call them Oppenheimers, the Rockefellers. the shifts,
Bilderbergers.
the Bilderbergs, all of that shit. Bohemian Grove, the Council of Foreign Relations, the Black Nobility, the Council of 300, the Round Table. Should we go on? These are bloodline families. You can't run for president if you have no blood in common with the Queen of England. Or in any Commonwealth nation for that matter.
I hope the
Strom
people...
Thurmond was a senator, right? Al Sharpton admitted he was a eighth cousin, twice removed, or whatever fucking relation he was with him, right? How do you acknowledge rapists in your family as your family?
I know.
We have no fucking standards, and then we follow this shit. Half of fucking Sally Hemmings' family want to be part of the Jefferson estate. Them motherfuckers was like, who the fuck are y'all? Y'all still niggas. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. One guy found it so interesting and so liberal, he wrote a book about it. He probably fucking made $5 million off the book alone. We sick, man. We want to fit in there. Oh, well, we should get part of it, too. He raped our grandmother.
The illusion of inclusion, like Paul Mooney says.
You're a 14th Amendment and a good nigga. Yeah, man. We sick, man. People want to fit in. We want to be, it's family. No, your family is people who are spiritually bonded to you. It ain't got nothing to do with blood. I always say blood is thicker than water and spirit is better than both.
And family is the most prostituted word in the English language.
Exactly. Because this motherfucker got the same, but you got people out here, they know they sister or they cousin or they daughter's ratchet, and she go with some guy who's the nicest guy in the world, and when he finally snapped, they go to kill him and she been beating his ass for 20 years. Oh, he hit me.
On that level, you got to be careful who you get hooked up with.
You know what I'm saying? No, ain't nobody going to be putting their hands on my sister. She cut him already.
Hellraiser.
On him,
exactly.
Car, you know what I'm saying? He went to his job so much and cutting up, and they had to fire him. And he ain't never put his hand on her. Finally, 20 years later, he finally slapped her and... Oh, he hit me. Y'all need to cut. They wind up going over there and killing everybody. Go to jail for 20 years. Stupidity. We reactionaries. We're not revolutionaries, man.
Revolutionaries
we react
think
instead of responding to too many situations, and then we respond to too many situations we're supposed to react to.
And it controls
us. Put a hand on your wife or your young daughter or whatever, you kill them. We want to prosecute those who are not prosecutable and kill those who are guilty of being victims of that same racist white supremacy. You know what I'm saying? So we can't want what they got, man. It don't mean don't have a nice house or don't have a nice car,
but don't let it control you.
Or whatever. Yeah. You can't want a Bentley. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If you want to get to those levels, you're going to have to do the rituals that's in the music industry or in the entertainment industry. And there's layers in it. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have to go, through Quincy Jones, through Jay-Z, through Birdman, through Dr. Dre, who was the first hip-hop billionaire, through Suge Knight, through Diddy. You're going to have to go through those people.
Quincy Jones.
Every major black control area got their mogul. So, it used to be Russell, it's Jay-Z now, and it's Diddy and Jay-Z in New York. In New Orleans is Birdman and Young Money and Lil Wayne. On the West Coast is Dre, and maybe you got one or two others. Jermaine Dupri was in the game, but after the bloom fell off his rose, they took all his shit. And Janet Jackson said, "I ain't fucking with you no more. You ain't
for real." I noticed that.
I'm going to the Middle East where I got oil, Arab money.
That's right. Billions now. That's how she cashed
Plus
in.
You short. Yeah. So, I mean, you know, people can see it for what they want. You know, I'm talking facts now. You know, I'm not talking about, you know, Solange and Jay-Z and no recording and what happened on that elevator. I'm not talking about that shit. I'm talking, and my book got why Michael Jackson was killed and who did it. You know what I'm saying? Whitney Houston and Ray J's involvement, and Ray J didn't kill her. Clive Davis is the one that did it. You know, Michael Jackson was killed by Tommy Mottola, Isaac Hayes. It's not just about hip hop figures. Sonny Bono, the Guru from Gang Starr, Old Dirty Bastard, so much more, man. You know, even people that didn't die, but, you know, Sister Soldier, Public Enemy, everybody's in there, man. Anybody who was big in the golden era and little after, Kanye West, you know, what happened to him, he got ruined because he told the world that Bush don't care about black people. You know, and so many more, man. So many more. You know what I'm saying? Of course, like I said, I focus on hip-hop. But I talk about people you never even heard of, Publicist, Ronnie Chasen. She was a white chick that got killed in L.A. Another guy named John Atterbury. You know, how Death Row was tied in with the White House. How Eazy-E was the first sacrifice. So many, man. So many. I mean, name the names, man. I'll name them. You know?
You ain't lying.
Tupac, of course, Biggie.
Yeah.
So many.
And those are the known. I mean, those are the ones that are generally known. But
Scientology, Tom Cruise. I go on white people, too. Heath Ledger, John Carradine, the guy that used to play Kung Fu.
Yeah, and how he died was terrible. God.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So many, man. There's lots of them. I mean, people you don't even make connections with. Star Whackers, Dennis Quaid. You know, he was hooked up with the same people Michael Jackson was hooked up with. You know, so many, man. It's so many. So, you know, I don't want people focusing because a lot of people don't understand the connections between the entertainment industry and acting. You know what I'm saying? Once you know, most movies today have a soundtrack. So right away, if you score in the movie, the connection between music and the movies is already right there.
Big time.
Because the publishing all gets paid out from ASCAP, BMI, and CSAT. So if you're an actor and you got rights to the movie, you know, points in the movie, you're getting the same. Whoever published it is paying the actors and the musicians in these movies.
On that note, off the air, since you mentioned those organizations, I want to ask you a few things. But it's no, I'm not afraid to ask you on the air, but it'll be putting people out that are very close to me, and you'll understand why. So it's not a punk move, but as we were talking, even from earlier, I was like, I gotta ask you, because
I'm sorry, man. I can talk forever, so.
Oh no! I'm glad you do.
Question.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna address this issue off of the air because it involves people that are close to me and some who are innocent of the umbrella that the other ones are under. So as to not put them out, I can't mention the other ones that are pretty well known out there in the industry that are close to me, related and not related. So that's why it's not the person or the people, it's the people around them that are innocent that I don't want to call down their name and make it seem as though they told me something when in actuality they didn't, but I already know. I just want to hear the dynamic from your end, the knowledge that you have. And it's not going to shock you, but it's going to shock you how I'm connected, and I don't care. I'll talk, but like I said, I don't want to bring anything down on any innocent people surrounding them that don't know. So that may sound confusing to whoever's going to listen, you know. And I've already said a whole lot because they're going to be like, "Are you talking about me?" Yes, I am, but I'm going to address this. And you'll understand why. Okay. You know, you'll understand why.
Well, my book is out, so it's already, you know, it's been out since March. So I mean, I already said everything.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I'm not worried about that.
I didn't hold no bars.
Yeah, yeah. And see,
so,
you
could ask me offline, online.
Yeah, there's some. It's family members, and I already told it. So if they listen to this, they're gonna know. But yeah, I wanna ask you some specific things. I'm gonna give you names. Maybe you heard of them or not, but they're in some very important positions, and there's some things that I suspected, but I want to know how deep possibly it could be, certain connections, because that's why I know that the shows that I do and the things that I write and the things that I draw as illustrations are out there, because there are just certain people that are supposed to be in contact with me that keep me at a safe distance, because they cannot, do, or do the family thing. And hey, let's whatever. It's got to be this distance, because you've talked too much already, and we can't be close with you.
Understood.
See? Understood. So yeah, we're gonna get down into specifics off the air, because and like I said, it wouldn't bring me no harm to mention anything, but it may bring people around them, and I wouldn't want that. See, so
well, if that's the case, then you don't even want to talk about it on the phone, because everything is recorded, and whatever.
Exactly.
I don't have no fear of that. So
right. No, me neither. But like on the show right now, with people that are gonna listen to it on YouTube and stuff like that. But on the phone, I don't care. I don't care about that part, because there is no privacy no more. You know what I mean? So I know that if they want, they can get. I mean, you could be in your home. They can tell you how many times you farted last night. They can tell you how you got your nut within the last few days. Your last one. They can watch everything. Your house with walls, they can see through that. It's not rocket scientists. People don't know we have privacy. I have my blinds up.
Well, look at it this way.
Yeah.
Forget about all that, because you went high tech on me. Let's go low tech. Anything with a camera that you can look into, like a television, a computer,
it can look right back at you.
Look at you.
Exactly.
So if you know that, then you already know there's no semblance of privacy. So whatever you say is Donald Sterling. Forget about all that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a recording. That's it, of a voice.
Yeah.
No video, no hand gestures, no gun pointing, even though he's talking real casual. Just two voices talking.
Exactly.
Billions of dollars at stake, we're talking.
You ain't lying. You're not lying at all. Yeah, so
trust me.
I already know.
So people that, don't say this, and whatever, man.
I mean, the most I would trust is getting close, hunching over, writing something real small on the paper and burning it up. And even then, the sound of the stroke of the pen on the paper would tell them what letter I'm writing. So, I mean, I already know this. The only thing Satan can't do, and it's biblical, is he can't hear your thoughts. And maybe he can pick up some waves, whatever, on a high tech level, but to know what you're thinking, we're creatures of habit.
We even got MK Ultra and all of that. Man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Manchurian Candidate.
Yeah. Mind control.
You could be getting. You could remember Manchurian Candidate, when the guy went into his hotel room and they called him in to recalibrate his shit. Yeah.
I mean, you know what you know. You know that you have to.
None of that shit. Then he went and killed John Voight, the character that played the senator that was running for president against him.
Yeah, and you know that you
resign, man.
You have to fight.
Give me a resignation letter in the morning.
And the funny thing is,
his mother, Glenn Close, the chick that's supposed to be playing Hillary Clinton, basically.
Yeah.
And told her boys, yo, I thought this shit was foolproof. This nigga remembering shit.
But there are a lot of people out here tormented electronically, and they know they're not crazy, but after a while they begin to feel that they're crazy. And you can see the desperation. I've had several people come to me, and I know they're not crazy. And I talk to them a certain way. I don't know all the answers, but it's like, listen, for whatever reason, somebody's working on you. Now, there's some people out there that's crazy. They smoking drugs and smoking dope. They out their mind. I understand that. But that's why your mind is a very important thing to have control over. Your desires is a very important thing, and your wants and these, like you said, if you're wanting a Bentley, there's something wrong, because what you have to do, even if you did it legit to get it, you're avoiding and going around your mission. Why do you want this that much? Why are you putting your real happiness on hold? Sunday, God willing, I'm gonna go to the beach and just walk out there quiet, feet in the sand, you know, have my camera with me just in case. You know, I might talk into a little bit, record a video. Quiet things, man. Things off the radar. You know, meditation, being connected to the Most High. You know, all this other distraction, like I did when I was much younger. I was like, man, how did I survive all of that stuff? But yeah, I don't want to take you off course because we have about maybe 6 minutes tops, man. So take it away, drop the links again, finish up what you wanted to say, and we're gonna do this again real soon, within weeks. So drop it, man. 5 minutes, 6 minutes, it's yours until it cuts off, and then I'm gonna call you back for about 5 more minutes. We'll let you rest, but I'm gonna tell you what I had to tell you. But do your thing.
Okay. Well, like I said earlier, the book is named Boom Bye Bye, Hip Hop Will Never Die, an expose on the entertainment industry with the focus on hip hop. I talk about so many figures in the hip hop industry, so many figures, actors, singers. I even go on Obama, politicians, not just Obama, a few other politicians. I talk about Andrew Breitbart, the guy who was supposed to expose some smoking gun information on Obama. He was a blogger that started the Huffington Post with Ariana Huffington. He on his way to conduct an interview with Sheriff Apiro, who is the, I believe, sheriff of the Phoenix metropolitan area, the same one that was arresting DMX all those times. Yeah, about years ago. He on his way there, he got shot with a heart attack gun. Wow. So I'm not just because we have to understand politics is not supposed to be, but it's also a form of entertainment. What do politicians do? They get on stage and they do press conferences, right?
Sure do.
They have to learn how to act and, you know, learn how to move their hands to persuade people, smile at certain times, be stern at certain times, say certain code words and buzzwords so that people are like, yeah, he's talking about black people. When you say words like urban and inner city and crime, people associate that with black people.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? Talk about politicians, too. The name of the book, again, Boom Bye Bye, Hip Hop Will Never Die. It's you can go on my blog, Blak to Africa, www.black, number 2, Africa, AFRIKA.blogspot.com. And my links are in there. It's a purple colored book, over 200 pages filled with information on how, you know, you can avoid the pitfalls of being in the industry. You know, I like to use examples too, so that, you know, I don't leave you in a vacuum.
Right.
You know, I like to use the example of people like Papoose and K-Slay and Immortal Technique, Paris, Percy P, and other figures in hip-hop who have made it without using the industry to get there. You know what I'm saying? Right. They probably on the periphery. I'm not saying they haven't been involved in the industry, but they have their own thing. They make money, and these guys don't punch clocks in order to get their money, and they're making money using hip-hop.
That's right.
And there's a lot of ways to use hip-hop. It ain't just about being a rapper, a DJ, a graph artist, or a breakdancer, or any of those various forms. There's law. There's lawyers, agents, booking agents, you know, hotel clerks, pilots, you know, because people got to fly. People got to rent cars. People got to, you know, there's millions of ways to make. You have to look at this as an industry. You can't look at this as a, you know, like I'm a rapper.
Right.
You know,
60 seconds.
I'm an actor.
60 seconds.
You can't look at it like that. You have to become more than one thing. We, as the first recorded history multi-genius Imhotep, he was a doctor. He was known as the father of medicine, as for that matter. He wasn't just known as a doctor. He was the father of medicine. They renamed him Hippocrates in Greece, but the actual man was Imhotep. Okay, so black people have to look at themselves as doctors, as lawyers.
45 seconds.
I'm not talking about with a degree from Harvard or Yale. I'm talking about as knowing what you need to know. So the Black's Law Dictionary, you need to have that at your disposal and know what that is. So when you need to define certain terminologies, you know what to do with that.
That's right.
You feel me? I talk about the 9 people activities and how we need to, master them and so on and so forth. So again, blacktoafrica.blogspot.com. Africa is with a K. You can friend me on Facebook. My name is Blak Smith, and in parentheses, Blak, Blak Smiff, in parentheses. So to make the distinction between me and whole lot of other blacksmiths out there, you can buy my stuff. My links are on my blog page and on my page on Facebook. The name of my Yahoo account, if you want to buy my book directly and you don't want me to sign it, or you don't care about what I'm talking about, but you just want the information, my my email is www.boom.bybybook, all one, boom, BOOM, bybybook.com, at yahoo.com. Get at me, you know what I'm saying? I'm available for lectures, workshops. I can teach teachers in any school. So, if you got Title I money, get at me. I can teach how to do rites of passage programs in the school systems, age appropriate for kids to come up and do, and be talented and
it's going to cut any second now.
The 5 elements of what hip hop is supposed to stand for as a culture, not as just a music or as any of that, as a culture. You know what I'm saying? Nutrition, everything.
Every Friday evening, tune
in. Why are we called Negroes? Why are we deaf, dumb, and blind? Why is everybody making progress, yet we seem to be lagging so far behind? Why are we mistreated? Why are we in this condition, stripped of our names, our language, our culture, our God, and our religion? Here in America, all of our religious training has been gotten by the preacher. He has told us of a heaven way up in the sky that we can't enjoy now, but rather after we die. But all of the years that we're living, for us there's nothing but hell, pain, torture, and misgiving. Yet the Bible speaks of a heaven filled with material luxury, which the white man and the preacher has right here, so we see. So my friend, take it for what it's worth. Your heaven and your hell is right here on this earth. So let's check back into history, which rewards all research and tells us plainly. Before the white man gained entry to the East, he was living in the caves of Europe, a ravenous beast, eating juniper roots and eating flesh raw, till God sent Moses to civilize him and teach him the law. Then, following Marco Polo, an explorer, he gained entry into Asia and Africa. From China he took silk and gunpowder. From India he took jute, manganese, and rubber. He raped Africa of her diamonds and her gold. From the Mideast he took barrels of oil untold. Raping, robbing, and murdering everything in his path. The whole black world has tasted of the white man's wrath. So my friend, it's not hard to tell. A white man's heaven is a black man's hell. Before we came to America, we were living in the East. By the Nile River, we were living in luxury, enjoying freedom, justice, and equality. We wore silken robes and slippers of gold. We were the wealthiest and the wisest people, I'm told. Now we are the poorest of the poor. Nobody wants us at their door. So, my friend, it's easy to tell. White man heaven is black man hell. When the white man came to America, he told the Indian, I am your white brother. He said, red man, I'll treat you the best. Yet and still he pushed the Indian further west with his white woman and fire water. With tricks and lies he stole America. The original owner of this nation is cooped up on a reservation. So, my friend, it's easy to tell. White man heaven is black man hell. He needed someone to work the land. His back was too weak. He needed you, black man, so he commissioned Sir John Hawkins to commit the world's most grievous sin, to take a man who's born to be free and bring him down to slavery, to sell a man as merchandise, on his body put a price. Oh, my friend, it's easy to tell. White man heaven is black man hell. John Hawkins showed up in our country, telling us of a land filled with luxury. He said, black man, follow me to America. There you'll find more gold for your labor. Our foreparents were tricked onto his boat. Since that time we've been wrestling with the goat. We landed here in Jamestown, Virginia, 400 years to suffer. So my friend, it's easy to tell, white man heaven is black man hell. When the slave master wanted to have some sport, he would heap on our parents cruelties of the worst sort, burn them at stake, hang them on trees. His ears were deaf to our parents' pleas. Though you were pregnant, black woman, you pull the plow like a horse, like a dog, even a cow. He filled your womb with his wicked seed. His half-white children you were made to breed. Oh, my friend, it's easy to tell, white man heaven is a black man hell. So-called Negro, open up your eyes. Black man everywhere is on the rise. He has kicked the white man out of Asia, and he's going fast out of Africa. With every ounce of strength and breath, his cry is give us liberty or give us death. The whole black world has their eyes on you to see what the so-called Negro is going to do. So my friend, it's easy to tell, our unity will give the white man hell. God made a promise to Abraham, his seed would be a stranger in a foreign land. They would suffer and be afflicted 400 years, but he would come, wipe away their tears. Our God and Savior, Allah has come. He has declared the white man's day is done. He has given us a divine messenger, one prophesied to come. His name is Elijah. We now can stand up, the whole world to tell. Our God has come to give us heaven and take the day.